get started here. I always have to adjust the settings on OBS for the stream, so I want to make sure you guys can hear me all right. There is also a bit of a delay between whatever you guys are going to say in chat and my responses because the stream, YouTube just automatically delays it, just so you guys are aware. Turn the music down. I moved the mic a little bit closer to my mouth. Is this any better? The microphone's actually all the way up in OBS, so I can't really turn it up any more than it is. I don't know why I'll have to look into it. The OBS settings are weird. Like for a video, I always have to, whenever I'm editing my videos, turn my volume like way down in the video editor from 100% all the way down to like 70. But then in live streams, my microphone is just really quiet. I don't know why OBS does the weird thing it does. But yeah, it does that. So, unfortunate. Hopefully, can you guys hear me all right over the music now at least? Still too high? Okay. Alright, I turned it down even more. Hopefully that's a little bit better. We'll see. And I'll try to, speak into the microphone loudly when we get started here. Is this sounding better so far though? Like, can you guys hear me all right if I speak loudly and the music is turned down now? Yeah? Okay. You might have to turn the volume up on YouTube if you're listening to this. I actually already have Fastbear. I have the PvP tier list set up. I've been doing some testing with the new Ochako and the new Deku, and like specifically in PvP. And the whales, TSS Hans and S Blue and those guys, the new characters are very good when they're level 130, but when they're level 100, yeah, I'm not too happy. I don't know. I'm not super excited about these anniversary characters, if I'm going to be honest with you. Not as much as I originally was. The more I test them, it's hard to find a team that works really well with them that's better than the team I already have with Fantasy Sue. That's kind of like, I feel like Sue is still a better unit than these two Impact Fest units in my opinion, but we'll see. I haven't done the showcases yet, and I haven't done the PvP tier list yet, so I'll be doing a PvP tier list, a PvE tier list, and stuff like that after I do a little bit more testing, and I'll probably come out with a video sometime tomorrow or Monday for that. Don't put Mirko in B rank again. Well, I mean, yeah, she's. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. She's probably gonna stay. I might move her down. I'll move her down to C rank for you. I feel like Deku is the Celebration Deku is a good option if you're newer to the game and you lack like Fantasy Jiro. I feel like Jiro's still overall better, but that's just my opinion. I think where we're really going to find uses for the Uraraka and the Deku, and the reason I almost want to wait to showcase them, I'm not going to lie to you guys, because I feel like I shouldn't showcase them yet, and everybody's been asking me to showcase them, is because the club celebration's coming out, which specifically said strength and mind type characters are going to be really good, right? Well, I have them both level 100. I have their basic boards completely done. I obviously didn't get any DX copies of them, but I feel like I should almost wait to showcase them until the club celebration comes out, where I feel like that's where they're really going to shine and you're going to find a lot of uses for them. Like that remove buffs on Uraraka, I feel like no other character really does that, and the nullification that Deku does, like the insane amount of nullification he does, no other character really does that. So that's definitely going to have to probably play into the new club celebration in some way, making them potentially like the best characters for that game mode, which is kind of what they've done in the past with Impact Fest characters, right? They release a mode that you can't be without it, so I don't know. We'll see. And they haven't given us a date for when it's coming out. They said soon. We got the notice. Typically, I think we have a data mine actually incoming soon, is what Hydro said, or it's at least highly likely that we'll have a data mine incoming. So whenever that data mine comes out, yeah, we'll know then. Do I like Heroes Assemble Bakugo? I do in a subslot for PvP, if that's what we're talking about. In terms of PvE, yeah, he's great. Sometimes he just does a little bit too much damage. Just depends. I like him better than Heroes Assemble Deku. I'll tell you that much. Alright, any more questions? Like, I'll gladly answer questions throughout the stream. I'll, you know, whatever, but just want to kind of start going through this. I think we had like something like 14 kits to go through. This is going to take a good minute here. Check the stream chat. Is there a... All right, I'm gonna get started then, and feel free to keep asking questions. You know, I'll just look over at the chat. It doesn't have to be necessarily related to the kits. If you want it to be related to the kits, I will gladly, you know, explain any part of the kits or whatever to you guys. We have people in here, obviously, like Common Folk, see you in the chat, that have made these kits. If you guys want to ask them questions in the chat. There is a stream chat in the Discord. If you guys are not already like participating in that, that might be cool for you. If you're watching this stream right now, go check that out, and maybe you'll chat there, maybe you'll chat in the YouTube thing. I will be personally looking at the YouTube chat, guys. I won't be able to flip back and forth between the stream chat here and the contest thing that I'm looking at right now. So if you want to talk to me or ask me questions or things like that, just make sure you put it in the YouTube chat. If you're asking me if I want there to be a new All For One like the manga, I have not read the manga. I intentionally try to avoid reading manga. I did that back when, you know, Naruto Shippuden wasn't finished, and I just ruined it for myself. I'm a very visual person, and so like it made it boring for me to watch it, so I tried not to read the manga unless, yeah, I just try not to read it. Do you like Heroes Assemble Bakugo for Climax Battle? Yeah, he can be a good kind of clutch character for any Climax Battle, really. You just have to have the right characters built around him. The video prediction, the video could be about 2.5 hours long. Probably longer than that with 14 characters. It's more characters than last time. And I'm in like no hurry this time. Just kind of going to go at my own pace. Yeah, so, all right, here we go. First character, we'll start with Common Folk here. And he has a strength UR Summertime Slasher Stain. You know what? Hey. Let's go. Let's get ourselves a summertime stain. We got the summer Uraraka, right? We need some summer villains. That's what we need. Summer outfit villains. That would actually be sick. That's a good idea right there. Okay. That's actually really cool. Plus ultra move is called Unyielding Conviction. Deals 800% damage to a single opponent. Increases character's action skill impact by 30% for 3 turns. Increases character's power by 25% for 5 turns. High chance 90% to bleed the opponent for 4 turns. Okay, that's fine. I mean, bleed doesn't... If bleed did more damage, I'd be worried. Like if it did like Hellfire, like with the burn. That's fine though. That's actually not too bad. Decreases the opponent's defense by 30% for 3 turns. This skill gains piercing shot if the opponent is bleeding. Oh, there it is. There's the OP part. This skill lands a bullseye. You got to put some sort of stipulation on the bullseye. If you're going to have piercing shot, like this is I've said this before, when you put piercing shot and bullseye on a character, I feel like both of them should have a stipulation. Like this skill gains piercing shot if opponent is bleeding. This skill lands a bullseye if opponent has defense down or something like that. Something like that I feel like would make it a little bit more balanced in my opinion. But yeah, summertime characters. I'm still like, let's see if you have anything in here that's did you just give him a summer name? I think you just gave him a summer name and then I don't know, we'll read the rest of these, but I feel like you didn't give him summer themed action skills unless this is him doing a dance with the swords, which yeah, that could kind of be summer themed. I don't know. Deals 475% damage to a single opponent. High chance 75% of bleeding the opponent for 3 turns. Bleeds don't stack, I assume. And then increases characters plus ultra gauge by 30%. Increases characters max HP by 25% for 2 turns if character fails to inflict bleed on the opponent. Okay, that's actually kind of that's an interesting, I like that. I like that. You're giving him a little bit more tankability. Like, not tankability. Yeah, tankability. You're giving him more tankability because you're giving him more health, where he increases his health for 2 turns by 25%. So whatever damage he takes that's within that 25%, he basically hasn't taken that damage. So that's good. This skill lands a piercing shot when used in a successfully executed skill chain. Okay, that's 2 piercing shots so far. That's not too OP. I mean, considering Fantasy Sue is now in the game. Before Fantasy Sue came out, I probably would have said, yeah, having piercing shot on every action skill is OP. But then they did it. So, I mean, yes. And then action skill 2. Fearsome Revenge gives character ability to cover allies for 2 turns and nullifies normal attacks and counters for 4 turns. Okay, that's a long time to counter. Increases characters' speed and defense by 35% for 3 turns. Increases critical hit rate by 25% for 2 turns. A medium chance 40% to inflict fear or bleed. Okay, so you got fear right here. This up here where it says bullseye, that bullseye should be like if they have fear. That would be good. Medium chance to inflict fear or bleed on opponent for 2 turns when a counter has been made. Oh, that is actually a dope idea. Hey man, that is a good idea. Inflicting a status ailment on a counter. I like that. I think 4 turns might be a bit much for countering, but inflicting a status ailment on a counter is actually a sick idea. That's really, really good. At a cooldown time of 6, at least you've been like, you know, fair with your cooldowns, because that is a kind of OP move right there. Pretty OP. And then auto skill 1. These streets must run with the blood of hypocrites. This doesn't seem very summery. This seems a little bit more murdery. But character deals increased damage to Heroes Assemble. Make it Celebration too. Increased damage to Heroes Assemble and Celebration units. And other limited... Oh, okay, there it is. And other limited time heroes. Okay, yeah, fair enough. By 45% for 3 turns at the start of a battle. Hey, I like that. I like that. That is something... Dude, you got some good ideas. This effect does not apply to limited heroes that don't already have a SR or UR version in the game. So the newer ones obviously basically wouldn't be affected by this, is what you're saying. If a character is inflicted by status ailment from limited time heroes, removes status ailment and shortens action skill cooldown time by 1. That might be a little bit OP, because then that just eliminates, like, for example, like Kaminari, Fantasy Kaminari, his get useless because now he no longer has a status element counter and stuff like that. And so I like the idea that you have a bleed counter. The only other character obviously in the game who has a status element counter, but he doesn't counter is that Kaminari. So that's a good idea. Auto skill 2. A soul that burns fiercely for others increases character speed by 40% for 3 turns at the start of battle. Okay, having your speed increase in an auto skill is really good. Obviously, that's what you want. That's what ideally makes a character good for PvP. If the opponent is bleeding, decreases their speed and power by 30% for 3 turns, so he can lose his own speed and his own power if he's bleeding. With the way that, oh no, wait, no, never mind. If opponent, I thought it said if character. Okay, if opponent is bleeding, they lose speed. Okay, that's fair. That's actually fair. Also increases character's critical hit rate and impact by 45% for 2 turns. If character lands a critical hit on a bleeding opponent, regenerates character's HP by 20% for 2 turns. Oh my gosh, you've given him health too. I don't know that Stain really heals himself, but 20%. It's only for himself. Okay, you know, I'll give it to you. Increases characters plus ultra gauge by 50% at the start of battle if All Might is on the team. Oh, I like that. I like the character. You have literally thought of like everything in this kit, and you know what? I'm gonna say it. It's not broken. It's not overpowered. It is balanced. This is one of the most balanced kits I have seen. So good job, Common Folk. Like actually really, really good. And then shout out to Hot Potato Potat for the artwork. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but yeah, that is some sick Stain artwork for sure. So that, yeah, Common Folk, I love the kit. Honestly, great, fairly balanced. I see you just wanted a summertime Stain. That was OP. Yeah, I feel like you should have added in, I don't know, it'd be easier to visualize, right, with maybe like a summer picture here where you had a picture of Summer Stain. That would have been kind of cool to see, like a summer outfit. I feel like that would have helped me visualize the character a little bit better. But I get what you were going for. I definitely do. All right, next we have the man himself, the man who never stops making characters from what I can tell, like actually insane. Last time came in the top 3. Infinite 2.0. You are ABL, True Justice, Stain, Climax Battle. I'm gonna assume I think CB Climax Battle character. That's what I would go with, right? So Climax Battle. Okay. So we have is this a character? This is a character you get from Climax Battle, right? I would assume. I'm assuming, right? Yeah, I'm going with that. I don't know if anybody knows, but that's what I'm going with. All right, so the plus ultra move is called Blood Curdling Kill. Deals 750% damage to a single opponent. Okay, yeah, it is Climax Battle. Okay, perfect. Deals 750% damage to a single opponent. Increases character's power and speed by 25% for 3 turns. Increases character's critical hit rate by 20% for 2 turns if the opponent is bleeding. Makes sense. We're going to see a lot of bleeds in these kits, obviously, because of what Stain does. Increasing critical hit rate by 20%. Honestly, not too overpowered. It's only for 2 turns. You could honestly give it 3 turns, 4 turns. I wouldn't care. Critical hit rate is one of those things you can just never really get enough of. Decreases a single opponent's defense and speed by 20% for 3 turns when using this action skill. Medium chance of inflicting fear on all opponents for 3 turns. It's fair, okay. That's fair because it's a medium chance. If that had been a, you know what? No, give him a high chance. Give him a high chance. If we're staying true to the source material, give him a high chance because he literally inflicts fear in pro heroes. Like, okay, medium chance. Oh, never mind. Wait, hold on. Let me read the rest of this. Let me not get it. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Okay. Medium chance of inflicting fear on all opponents for 3 turns. High chance of inflicting bleeding on a single opponent for 5 turns. Okay, medium chance of paralyzing the opponent for 2 turns. Higher chance of paralyzing the opponent if the opponent is bleeding. Okay. I'm makes sense in terms of like source material, right? That's a lot of status elements though. High chance of bleeding, medium chance of fear, high chance of paralyzing if they're bleeding already. I would say go with low chance of paralyzing here and then medium chance of paralyzing here, and that makes it more balanced. And then change this right here. So here's an idea for you. If you think back to the episode of My Hero, obviously, where he's basically unconscious and still scaring the crap out of everybody. Medium chance of inflicting fear on all opponents for 3 turns, but a high chance of inflicting fear on all opponents if all opponents are pro heroes or class 1A or something like that. That would be an idea right there, because then that would force people to switch up their teams and stuff like that to where they can't run an all pro hero team easily. So not that anybody does that right now, but maybe in the future, you know, by the time a unit like this does come out. But that's just an idea right there. Action skill number 1. The Final Cut deals 350% damage to a single opponent, increases character's power and critical hit rate by 15% for 4 turns, okay? 15% for 4 turns, plus whatever you're getting up here. Okay, 2 turns of critical hit rate. I see why you didn't give it more than 2 turns up here now, because that would be a lot of crit, but like really, that's still only 35% crit. That's not too crazy, so you could probably still extend this duration up here. Increases character's speed by 15% for 3 turns if character's HP is 50% higher than 50%. Medium chance of inflicting bleeding on a single opponent for 3 turns. Low chance of paralyzing the opponent for 1 turn. Okay, there's the low chance. And a cooldown time of 3. I think we're missing a cooldown time on this one. Infinite! You forgot the cooldown. Oh wait, never mind. That's a plus ultra move. I'm dumb. I'm literally dumb. Okay, never mind. You're fine. You're fine. Just, guys, I'm dumb. It's gonna be a long video. I apologize. I apologize. Okay, we continue. Action skill 2. The Will to Deliver True Justice deals 325% damage to all opponents. Okay, and attack all for Stain. Yeah, sure, why not? He takes on 3 people at once. Increases character's power and speed by 15% for 4 turns. Increases character's plus ultra gauge by 30% and action skill impact by 20% for 3 turns if used in a successfully executed skill chain. I feel like you could probably increase this plus ultra gauge raise by more than 30%, make it kind of unique, like 40% would be cool, because a lot of characters are 30%. That's just my 2 cents. Decreases all opponents' defense and critical hit rate by 20% for 3 turns. Decreasing crit rate, obviously good. Decreasing defense, obviously still very good. Medium chance of inflicting fear on all opponents for 2 turns. And then once again, I'd probably go with a high chance if all opponents are heroes or something like that. That'd be cool just to add in there, I feel like. Auto skill 1. Spreading Influence increases character skill impact and plus ultra skill impact by 20%. Ooh. Okay, so this is tricky right here, right? Because the way you have it worded is going to make, like, people could easily look past this and say, oh, okay, 20%. But what you're really saying here is that you are increasing Stain's plus ultra skill impact by 40%, because this increases his normal skill impact by 20%, and then you're increasing his plus ultra skill impact by another 20%. So you are giving him 40% plus ultra skill impact, and then on top of the 750% damage. Dude, you have made a one-shot character again on accident. I don't feel like you did this on purpose, but you made a one-shot character on accident with that 40% increased skill impact. Like, okay, so just imagine with me. You take this, right, and you add on another plus ultra skill impact memory, because there are plenty in the game, right, that increase your plus ultra skill impact, and they give you crit rate too. And then you combine this 40% with the 750% damage that you're doing, plus whatever skill impact you get from the memory. You are going to be one-shotting people. Bro, I think on accident you've created another one-shot character. That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. Increases character's max HP and defense by 25% for 3 turns if the opponent is paralyzed, okay? Increases all villain allies' buffs by 25% when character's knocked out, okay? Interesting. I wish we could, like, I guess Stain's not really a support for villains, you know? He doesn't work well with others, so fine that he doesn't do it while he's alive, when he's knocked out, because he does like inspire people, right? So fair enough. Fair enough. When he's knocked out, increases or buffs them by 25%. I see where you're coming from. I get that. We'll go with that. Action or auto skill 2, extensive weapon arsenal, increases character's critical hit rate and critical hit impact by 20%, decreases all hero opponents' power and max HP by 20%, gains the ability to double normal attack every turn. That's beautiful. When character's HP is below 30%, I like that. That's a really good addition, and having that stipulation on it makes it more fair with everything else that he does. Character gains last stand 3 times when character's HP is below 40%. Character evades 2 times every 3 turns. Hey, the evasion too. Okay, you made him a little bit overpowered. I'm not gonna lie. He's quite a bit more overpowered than common folks. I love the arts that you've chosen though. Very, nice arts, of course. And it does honestly give me a picture of what he could look like, or his arts could look like in the game when he does eventually come to the game as a UR. That would be really, really cool to have like this art in particular. I really like the one on the left. So I like the arts you've chosen. And overall, dude, this is much more balanced. You don't have, we haven't seen any exploding kits yet. I see some people talking about those in the comments. So yeah, no exploding kits yet. The only thing I would say is like just the amount of damage that you're going to get from this one particular thing right here, increasing character's critical hit, sorry, not that thing, increasing character's skill impact and plus ultra skill impact by 20%. That's going to make it maybe a bit too overpowered. But other than that, pretty fair play. Balanced. Now I'm going to look over at the chat here for a second. Once again, there is a delay, so I'm going to kind of read what you guys are saying. Respond to any questions or comments that I see really quickly before we move on to the next person. Hale, you say your kit might be more OP. We'll see. The Awakened art is amazing. Yeah, I agree. The art that he chose, Infinite chose, is good. No, the Celebration characters were not from the movie. Okay. Alright, I think that's most of the questions. I'm going to move on with the next kit. Once again, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Oh, okay. See someone saying something. Ale is saying something. I'm going to wait a sec. Ale says his kit is suicidal. Great! We have that to look forward to. Nobody else's kit, I'm going to say right now, better be suicidal besides Ales. Okay. I better not see like 5 more suicidal kits because yeah, just no, stop it. Okay, Kaido, you've chosen a destruction type, okay, for a better society. Stain. Oh, and you've also chosen a climax battle version. Okay, fair enough. And the plus ultra move is called Revolving Blood. Deals 650% damage to a single opponent. Inflicts bleed to the opponent for 2 turns. High chance, 75% to inflict bleed to the opponent for 3 turns if the opponent is a hero. There you go. There's that hero thing that I like. I really do like that. Like I'm kind of a stickler for that because Stain is always going to be more like, he should be. If there's any character that should have a specific target, it should be Stain, right? I feel like. So in the game, I like the idea of him doing more against particular characters, specifically heroes. So yeah. Regenerates all allies' HP by 20%, increases character's attack by 10%, stackable. You know what? That's fair. 10%, we have a character like this in the game, right? His name is Green Bakugo, Golden Chance Bakugo, and honestly, he can be as strong as like fantasy Bakugo, but he takes forever to build up, and so it's not really that big of a deal. There's no content in the game that takes that long right now, but eventually like stacking might become important, like it did in Dokkan Battle. It became important, but it's just not important to the game right now. So I feel like I'll let you slide with this, even though it's infinite and you don't have a timer on it. He just stacks forever, but that's, I'll give it to you. It's fine. It doesn't really matter because you're never going to have any content in the game where you need it to stack infinitely, you know, to turn 10 where now you have 100% attack. Like, it's just not going to matter. Okay, continuing on. Oh, okay. Hold on. Before I read this next action skill, Keon, just so you know, DRC, I made a Toga kit and a Mirio kit with new mechanics and a Kendo kit. Would be cool if you checked out. Yeah, I actually go through the create your own My Hero thread quite a bit. Honestly, you guys post in there so much, it's a little bit hard to keep up. And when I say a little bit hard, a lot hard, because typically in videos I do about 4 characters per video at the most when I do a video outside of a live stream, because obviously it takes so long to go through these kits, talk about them, give you guys my thoughts on them and stuff like that. So I know there are a ton of kits in there that I actually haven't got to review and talk about, but trust me when I say I have looked at most of your guys' kits and I have kind of skimmed over them. The only ones I intentionally don't read are the contest ones, because I want to give you my first honest reaction here on stream. Oh, great. You actually put something into here, Ale, that says your game crashes when you die from a bleed mid skill chain? Okay. Well, I really hope you're lying. I hope you don't have a kit in here that does that, but I wouldn't put it past you. Anyways, action skill 1, Slayer of Hero, deals 400% damage to all opponents, inflicts bleed to all opponents for 1 turn. If the opponent is a hero, increases all allies excluding self. Special defense, is that what you're saying? SPD, I assume. I don't like abbreviations, guys. I'm done with abbreviations, and they mean different things in different games, so it's hard to tell. I'm gonna go with special defense by... No, not special defense. Why am I calling it special defense? Speed! Speed! Oh my gosh, just all capitals. Just put the 2 E's in there, guys. Oh my god. Okay. Increases all allies' speed by 25%. This skill lands a bullseye if the opponent has speed down. I'm just so retarded. Decreases all opponents' attack by 15% for 2 turns. And then a 5-turn cooldown. And hold up. Whoever said Kendo is hot needs to go and check themselves, okay? Just go check yourself. Like, you got brain damage. Continuing, action skill 2, True Changer of Society, deals 400% damage to a single opponent. Medium chance, 45% to inflict bleed to the opponent for 1 turn. Inflict stun to the opponent for 1 turn. Okay, first character with a stun, nice. For 1 turn if the opponent is inflicted by bleed. And this skill gains piercing shots if the opponent is a League of Villains character. I feel like you could have done a little bit more with this, like medium chance to bleed for 1 turn. Give it 3 turns, you know, make it a little more fair, because 1 turn is just not worth it. It's not going to do very much. It's not going to help your character that much. So just keep that in mind. Continuing on with auto skill 1. Yeah, I know. Yeah, special defense is SP.D. I'm just, sometimes people forget the period, sometimes people don't space it, and I'm just retarded, okay? Anyways, auto skill 1. Oops. What are we doing here? Didn't mean to do that. Auto skill 1. The Will of Fixing Society increases character speed by 20% for 2 turns at the start of battle, increases character skill impact by 10%. For every buff the opponent gets, decrease the opponent's speed by 15%. When character's HP is below 50%, increases character's defense by 25% for 3 turns. This could be really, really OP, because you say for every buff the opponent gets, decreases the opponent's speed by 15%. If the opponent has temporary buffs, like a lot of characters do, every time they get a temporary buff that is supposed to help them, it just decreases their speed. That's an interesting idea right there. That's really, like, that's going to make people try to avoid temporary buffs. So that's probably the most unique thing I've seen in this kit, actually. That's cool. That's a good idea. Auto skill 2, the Cursed One. If the opponent is inflicted with speed down, shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 1 every time opponent is inflicted with speed down. When character's HP is below 30%, gain immunity to bound and stun. Okay, so a lot of your kit is like, I guess, speeding the character down. And then if you do that, you get all these other benefits and stuff like that. So shortening the character's action skill cooldown time by 1 is pretty good, because you have cooldown times of 4, gives them 4-turn cooldowns. Overall, I would say pretty fairly balanced. I would say underpowered actually for a lot of it. I think you could go a little bit more overpowered with this stuff and make it a little bit more fair. Like, you could definitely make it better, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, just make it stronger. Change the percentages a little bit, change how long the bleed lasts and stuff like that, and I think you could definitely make this kit stronger. But it's a solid idea and a solid kit, and I really like I like what you've done here. I'm not gonna lie. What are technical hits and how do you get more? Hold on, I'm gonna take a drink of water and then Okay. Before we move on to the next one, I will explain technical hits. We have Duckage coming up next. Technical hits, Mass says, are things like increased action, skill impact, status elements, etc. Yeah, it's a little bit more than that, and that's why it's kind of I should do literally just like a 2-minute video explaining technical hits, because even it took me a long time to fully understand what technical hits are. Yeah, so it usually occurs when you do them in a skill chain. It's like, so it'll say when used in a second or later successfully executed skill chain, or third or later, or it might even just say when used in a successfully executed skill chain. That makes it a technical hit. Now, some characters have that in their auto skill, so anytime you use either of their action skills, that means it's a technical hit as long as you're using it in whatever skill chain it says. Then another type of technical hit is when you affect the opponent's stats. If you affect the opponent's stats by like decreasing their speed or decreasing their power or their crit rate or stuff like that, that also counts as a technical hit. And some characters can have double technical hits where they have decreased the opponent's stats while doing this in a certain skill chain, and that will count as a double technical hit on one move. And those characters are very, very good for things like BE Tower. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit. So if you ever see someone talking about double technicals, that's probably along the lines of what they're talking about. Yeah, and it's like Alice said, successfully executed skill chains are if conditionals. If this happens, then this happens. That's, yeah, a good way of thinking about it for technical hits. All right, next. We have Duckage. My voice is already going, and we're only on, what, number 3? So we got number 4. Wait, hold on. Have I already lost count? Kaido, Infinite, yeah, number 4. Okay, so we're on number 4. We got 10 more after this, and less people have added on since I looked at it. Duckage, you are mined villainous slaughterhouse stain vigilante. Okay, I like the villainous slaughterhouse. That's pretty cool. Interesting image you've chosen here. And then, okay, so let's get through this. This is going to be an interesting one, I can already tell. Plus Ultra is called Blood Curdle, Eternal Paralysis. I have a feeling this is going to be OP. Deals 750% damage to a target enemy, single target enemy. Decreases their defense and speed by 25% for 3 turns. High chance 90% of inflicting bleed for 2 turns. Medium chance to stun the opponent for 2 turns, 50%. FYI, stun, you basically just given Stain a high chance to stun opponents, because whenever you land a crit, that increases your stun chance. So that might be a little bit too overpowered. That's why, like, even the new Fest units, the Ochako, I think she only has a low chance because of that. Because she gives herself crit rate and it actually becomes a medium chance. So just keep that in mind. This character gains the ability to make a last stand 1 time. This character gains the ability to evade 1 time. Okay, that's fair. But and that happens with the Plus Ultra. Okay, yeah. That's fair. Overall, not too bad. The only thing that might be a little bit too overpowered is the, 50% chance to stun before crit. That might be a little bit overpowered. So just keep that in mind. Action skill 1, Sacrificial Blade Work. Deals 400% damage to a target enemy. Medium chance, 40% to stun them for 1 turn. So that's another basically high chance to stun them. But it's only 1 turn this time. Increases the character's speed by 20% for 3 turns. Increases this character's plus ultra gauge by 30%. Cooldown time of 5 turns. Okay, not too overpowered. Nothing really to say about that. That's fine. Action skill 2, Spirit Crusher, low chance, 30% to inflict Fear Strucken. Okay, so we got a new type of status element. Can't wait to see what that is. To all opponents for 2 turns. A low chance, 30% to stun all opponents for 1 turn. That's fair. That is actually fair. Decreases all opponents' skill impact, speed, and critical strike chance by 20% for 3 turns, so massive debuffs. This character gains the ability to evade 1 time. Okay, that's fair, and a cooldown time of 6. For everything that's happening in this action skill, I'm actually okay with that cooldown time because otherwise it might be a little bit too overpowered, but we have to see what Fear Strucken actually is, unless that's just fear. I assume that's something different. I think you have, hopefully, you have Frenzied, you have Victimized. I don't know if we have an... Oh, wait, right here. It's literally right here. I'm just blind. Okay. Fear Strucken, minus 100% critical strike. Oh boy, yeah, let's not add something like that into the game because chances are they add something that takes away 100% of crit. They're gonna put that in a VE tower, and I don't want that. Imagine that'd make it so hard to do VE tower, and then you have to have like Deku to cleanse yourself or something like that to get rid of the Fear Strucken. That way you're actually able to do crits. Like that would be ridiculous. So yeah, let's not add this into the game just because the devs will use it against us. If it was one of our characters, you know, it'd be cool. But yeah, when this character gains the ability to evade or is given a barrier, that effect is immediately removed and Stain recovers 10% of their max health. Okay, so Stain does not actually gain evasion, he just gains health. What's the point in giving them evasion then, or a barrier? I'm confused. I'm a little bit confused now. This is the part that confuses me. Okay, well, that's weird. Alright, well, auto skill 1, Conflicting Ideology. When a wave starts, this character gains damage immunity for 1 turn. Inflict bleeding on all opponents for 1 turn, every other turn. When the character deals damage to an opponent who's bleeding, they recover 8% of their max health and gain plus 2% speed, stacking until the end of the wave, okay? That's really not that OP until the end of the wave. That's not too bad. The thing I am interested in is this damage immunity right here, though. I think that's coming to the game. I think it's going to happen. With Pierce being in the game, there's just no such thing as defense anymore. And with a character like Fantasy Sue, who just has ridiculous Pierce, I think they're going to add in... Well, we kind of already have it. We have it in the form of Persistence, which is like, you know, you just can't die until Persistence is up. But I think they will probably introduce something like damage immunity events eventually. That would be my guess, to be completely honest. So damage immunity for your explanation, characters immune to damage and resist damage over time effects. Okay, yeah, but for how long? So for 1 turn, yeah, 1 turn is fair. Like, I totally see something like that actually coming to the game. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. That's probably somewhere down the line. That would be my prediction. So, yeah. The next thing, auto skill 2, Slice and Dice. This character has plus 20% critical strike chance. When this character reaches 1% of their max health for the first time, they recover 25% of their max health. And you might want to add, and they can't die at like dropping below, you know, because 1% is hard to reach. They need to not die when they hit that 1%. So you need to give them a way to survive, just with the way the game's worded, like add a last stand in there or something. Become Frenzied and gain damage immunity for 1 turn. Okay, well, maybe you gain damage immunity, then recover 25% health at 1 health. Like, you should switch that order and it'll make a little bit more sense. And we'll find out what Frenzied is here in a second. When this character scores a critical hit against an opponent, that opponent becomes victimized. This sounds like I don't want to say it, but like a certain type of trauma victim. I don't want to get demonetized, you know, but this doesn't sound great. They get victimized for 2 turns. The first time this character goes below 50% of their max health, they immediately take a turn and use Pain Subjector. This ability cannot be used any other time in the battle. And then we got to see what these do. Okay, so Frenzied. Plus 45% skill impact, plus 30% speed, plus 25% critical hit impact. Okay, that's cool. We're good with that. Victimized. Attacks from Stain deal 15% more damage and have an additional 20% chance to score a critical hit. This character takes 1.5 times bleeding damage. Hey! Oh, that's actually such... Okay, this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part of the kit. This is actually... Okay. Okay, I like this right here, 1.5 times bleed. I think we need a way to increase bleed. I do. I don't think bleed, like, think about it. Fire or burn has the Hellfire, okay, where you can do all the damage in one turn that you would have taken over the course of turns, and you can land a crit and make it hit really hard, obviously break the damage cap with characters like Dobby. With bleed's just kind of subpar. It's one of those status elements that's just kind of like, eh. So, sorry, yo. DRC wide, now I can't unsee it. Sorry, yo. Sorry. Okay. Special action skill, Pain Subjector. Pain Subjector removes 40% of the target opponent's max health. Okay. Jeez. That's insane. That's the overpowered part. That's a little bit too overpowered. Target opponent cannot gain additional max health. Inflicts healing immunity on all enemies for 2 turns. Yeah, that's a little OP. That's, yeah. I actually do also like this idea though. The idea of healing immunity. I don't know how they would implement it in the game though. That's one of the ones that'd be a little bit harder to do. And I don't think you could do it for multiple enemies. I think it would have to be for individualized enemies, and then you could do healing immunity. Like that character that just got attacked can't heal for however many turns, making it easier to kill them. So characters like, for example, Fantasy Kirishima, if Pierce wasn't in the game, this would be another way to go about it. You inflict the healing immunity where you can no longer heal Fantasy Kirishima, and it'll make it a little bit easier to kill him, right? So that's an idea. Next, we have Mr. Zombie. Before looking at that, I'm going to look at the comments again. I've been looking kind of back and forth. I haven't seen anything too in particular other than someone saying Kendo is hot. Again. Why are we saying this? I'm so confused. Somebody explain this to me. Why are we saying, huh? Oh, that person left. Okay. Okay. That's good. I'm sorry if you're still here and you said Kendo's hot, and I'm sort of sorry for saying you have brain damage, but you know, I just have a personal vendetta against Kendo, as everyone here probably knows. Especially, and I'm counting, by the way, for anyone that watched those summon videos, I am counting that memory where Kendo was in the videos, both the videos, as Kendo now. It is also bad luck, obviously, since that was a massive shaft. So anything from now on, any memory or character or reference to Kendo is bad luck. Okay, that's how it's gonna work from now on. I think in the summons makes the most sense to me. All right, with that said. Mr. Zombie, it's your time to shine, man. Wait. Ayo, are you saying I got lucky? Hold on. What do you mean I got lucky? I will never touch Kendo. I will leave her at level 80. I'll do a level 80 showcase for you guys. I'm not even gonna put stars into her if she ever comes out as a UR. You got nothing at all in 300 pulls? That's actually, yeah, I heard a few people did that. And it was garbage. Dude, I literally, this is probably 100% copium. And I fully acknowledge that when I say this. I fully acknowledge this. But it feels like they only turned the rate up on for the memories. I feel like I pulled so many memories, and I got like absolute trash for characters. Like I didn't even pull very many UR characters. And then obviously you guys saw I didn't pull I didn't even pull Ochako. I had to go to pity for her. So yeah, I know a lot of people got massively shafted. Like a lot of the whales in particular got massively shafted. Meanwhile, my girlfriend did one, I think, what was it, like 18 silver ticket summons and pulled Red Ochako on a silver ticket. And so I don't get it. I don't get it. $900 pulls to get both. That's actually insane. That's actually ridiculous. That's crazy. Okay, I
I've ranted long enough, and I feel for you. Trust me. After I definitely feel for you, man. I feel for anyone who got shafted. I know so many people got shafted on this banner in particular. That's why I put the tweet out. I would really like. It would be nice if Bandai ever responded to tweets. I know they never will. I know they'll probably never see my tweets or anything like that. But you know, just asking them if everything was kosher on this banner, because it'd be nice to have some feedback from them. Just say, yeah, everything was good, but you know, whatever. All right, so Mr. Zombie made a destruction type. You are Societal Disdain Stain. Wow, try saying that 3 times fast. Societal Disdain Stain. Societal Disdain Stain. Societal. Oh, yep, there we go. Try that right now. If you guys are sitting there watching this, try saying that 3 times fast. That's actually, you come up with a tongue twister of a name. Nice job. All right, plus ultra move. You're Not Worthy deals 550% damage to a single opponent. High chance 90% of causing the opponent to bleed for 4 turns. Reduces character's action skill cooldown time by 1 if this attack lands a critical hit. I like that. If this attack hits an opponent whose HP is at 10% or less, this attack will KO the opponent regardless of last stand or persistence. 10%, you make it 15%. 10% is really hard to achieve and get characters down to. I'd say 15% is a little bit more fair and gives you a little bit more room. And then regardless of persistence, I love that. I love that. The thing is, persistence isn't as big of a deal anymore because you can get around it pretty easily through like fantasy Ida's evasion or fantasy Kirishima's just like sheer tankiness. Persistence doesn't matter as much anymore, but I do like the idea there. Action skill 1, Purging Blade, has a 5-turn cooldown, deals 325% damage to a single opponent, medium chance 45% of causing the opponent to bleed for 3 turns. Action skill impact of the skill is increased by 20% if the opponent is a pro hero. I like that. You guys know I like that. I've been saying that this whole time. Action skill 2, Blood Curdle. 7-turn cooldown. Holy crap. You've given him a long cooldown for this one. It must be OP. Increases character's plus ultra gauge by 30%. Medium chance 35% of causing all opponents to become afraid for 2 turns. High chance 75% of binding all opponents for 2 turns if they are bleeding. Okay. It has the stipulation of needing them to bleed. And I would say, you know what, make this like, I think a good idea here would be to make this like Zero, since you do have the condition that they have to be bleeding and you're not guaranteed to have them bleeding, right? Make this become basically 100% chance on his EX auto skill, because you can do that with, you know, EX auto skills apparently, and increases binding to basically 100% chance, and then I think that action skill is worthy of having a 7-turn cooldown. Otherwise, I feel like you could shorten the cooldown. Auto skill 1, Smite of the Fakes. Character gains 100% critical hit chance and 20% critical hit impact against opponents who are bleeding and bound. Oh, maybe not. Okay, now I see. Okay. It's still only a 20% extra critical hit impact though. Like, it's a guaranteed crit, but it's still not. It depends on what his stats are, I guess. If we were to have stats here, we would know how hard he hits, but like, I don't feel like that's too overpowered yet. Also reduces character's action skill cooldown time by 1 whenever the character defeats a pro hero opponent. Okay, so basically if he lands crits, he's decreasing his action skill cooldown time. This becomes 6, this becomes 4, and then if you somehow kill an opponent, you can decrease it again. That's not really a great, I've never been a fan of like kill an opponent, get this benefit, because it just, I feel like doesn't work out very well in the game, but that's me. Auto skill 2, All for a Better World. When character's health reaches 50%, increases character's speed by 30%, and once per battle increases the character's plus ultra gauge by 30%. When character's health reaches 40%, normal attacks gain a high chance 65% of causing the opponent to bleed for 2 turns. I like the idea of causing them to bleed with normal attacks. 65% is fine, because like I said, bleed is such a subpar status element in my opinion. It's not very, it's like not great. The one thing I would say about this that I would change is give him the speed buff before 50% health, so he has an extra 30% speed before he drops below 50% health, and then you can keep the plus ultra gauge thing the way it is. But it just kind of makes sense, like in terms of a battle, you're going to be faster at the start of a battle, slower as the battle goes on, and it's not really beneficial to the character to have extra speed later in the battle, because the only time speed's really useful is in PvP, and you want that speed on the first turn ideally, like for your character. Otherwise it's pretty much useless, because by the time you drop below 50% HP, you're in turn 4 or 5 where it just doesn't matter anymore and your characters are dead. So I would say put the speed before the 50%, if that makes sense to you, and then the art you've chosen as well. People arguing about Ojiro now? Wait, what? I'm so confused. I look away for a second to read stuff. Oh, okay, I see. We got someone simping over Kendo and her big hands. That's not okay. That's just not okay. That's not okay, man. Okay. yeah, the chat is literal chaos. Yeah, guys, you know what? Kendo has nothing to do with Stain. I'm moving on. I'm moving forward. Feel free to join me when you guys are done talking about big hands, I guess. All right, Draco Galaxy. I'm not sure what this SPI is here, but yeah. To fix this broken society Stain, plus Ultra, Hero Killer Stealth Rush deals 630% damage to a single opponent, high chance of causing the opponent to bleed for 5 turns, medium chance of the opponent to be stunned for 3 turns, and yeah, you don't have a cooldown on a plus Ultra, so that's fine. Medium chance to stun is fine-ish for 3. It's just one opponent, right? Yeah, it's just one opponent. So you can stun one opponent. You can have a high chance, basically, because once again, the crit increases your chance of stunning. But a high chance to stun for 3 turns, that's fine. It's just one opponent. It's whatever. Damage to a single opponent. High chance of causing them to bleed for 5 turns. 5 turns, that's a pretty long bleed. But once again, bleed is a subpar status element. I'm fine with it. Okay, not too overpowered so far. I would say 3 turns might be a little bit long for the stun, but not too bad. Action skill 1, Killer Daggers deals 400% damage to multiple opponents, medium chance of causing bleed for 3 turns, and low chance of causing stun for 1. Okay, that's fine. Not overpowered at all. Cooldown time of 5. You can make it a cooldown time of 4 because this is one of the more like gutted action skills. I'm not saying it's bad. It just doesn't have like, you know, a ridiculous amount going on with it like some of the previous kits did. And sometimes having too much going on with a character makes it too confusing for people to understand. So, you know, the simplified version is sometimes good. Action skill 2, Bloodlust Stare, puts fear onto the opponents for 6 turns. A 6-turn fear. Oh, I don't think you understand what fear does. That's insane. High chance of confusing the opponent for 3 turns, and you want to confuse them, and increases character speed by 30% for 6 turns. Bro, that's a little bit OP. I would say take the fear down to like, I don't even know if we have a fear that lasts like 3 turns. I would say take it down to like 3 turns at max. Because you're also confusing them as well. So basically you have a double status element here. So if you're not fearing them, then you're confusing them, and basically their whole team can't attack you for 3 turns. That's yep, unless they have like status element nullification like Yellow Deku, since he is now in the game and he's literally like a cleanser. A character like this could fly now, but even then that might be a little bit too OP. But I have been saying that in PvP we've had like a speed meta, we had a defense meta, we're going back to kind of a speed meta, but I've been saying we need like a status element meta where status elements kind of reign, and then we need like the rock paper scissors, right, where we have defense beats status elements beats speed beats defense, however, you know, so it's not just the same old teams that are boring and stuff like that. And so we'll see if they come out with something like that. I think Deku might be like the first step towards something like that now that we have a cleanser to cleanse status elements, but we'll see. Auto skill 1, You Are True Heroes, increases character's power by 25% if there's a Shoto Todoroki on the team, increases burn resistance by 30% if there's an Izuku Midoriya or an All Might on the team, increases power by 20%, and if there is a Tenya Ida on the team, increases speed by 30%. I like the character specific auto skill. I like the idea that you're taking the characters that were there at that moment and putting them them into this auto skill. Auto skill 2, the Secret Hero, increases speed by 10%, increases plus ultra gauge by plus ultra damage, apologies, by 15% if there is a ally. What? If there is all might, I think you meant. If there is all might on team, increases power by 10% and plus ultra gauge by 35%. Okay, you know what? Not too overpowered, and you actually put in the advanced stats as well. So I'm not. 50,000 is kind of low for advanced HP. I feel like is it not? Is that? I feel like that's low. I feel like there's characters that are 130 with advanced stats that are quite a bit higher than that. So I might be wrong. Maybe it's like 49,000 is max, but I think it's like 59,000. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think that's the case, though. I think that's the case. Okay. And if any of you are confused what speed means, it's short for speed. I needed this 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. I needed that. Yep. Because I'm just literally dumb sometimes. I could have used that a few minutes ago. But thanks for the explanation. And then, of course, we have the picture there. Honestly, this kit was fairly balanced, and I liked it. Okay, now we have Masked, and you have the stats here as well. I'm gonna assume these stats are DX because 38,000 would be low. This must be like a level 80, level 100 UR would be my guess, somewhere around that. Well, but hold on. But then again, you said level 130. I'm confused now. I feel like the HP should be higher. No? I feel like the HP should be higher. What do you guys think? For a 130 characters, 38,000. Hold on. I'm gonna do something. Hold on. He's purposely that low of HP. Oh, for your kit? Okay, that makes sense. I wanna double check something. Alright, let's see. DX, blah blah blah. Yeah, 49,000 health. So roughly around 50,000 for most characters is where we're at when it comes to HP. So you have given him like pretty low HP. Okay, so we'll have to see how that plays into the kit. I'm curious now since you said it's supposed to be that way. All right, let's see. Yeah, the power the power is insane. 11,000 power on this Deku. Meanwhile, on Stain you have the on Stain you have 14,000 power. Yeah, the power is a little high. The power is yeah, a little bit. The speed, yeah. I see why you've lowered the health, but we'll see. He's kind of a glass cannon, I think, but depends on what the kit does. Plus Ultra Move, level 3, Blood Curdle. Deals 700% damage to a single opponent. Increases character's critical hit rate and critical skill impact by 40% for 3 turns. High chance 70% of inflicting bleed on the opponent for 3 turns. Low chance 30% of inflicting stun on the opponent for 1 turn. You can make that 2 turns. Increases stun chance to a medium rate 45% if the opponent is already bleeding. Yeah, you could still definitely make it 2 turns. 1 turn stun. I've never actually been a fan of 1 turn stuns because it feels useless if your team is slower, I guess, because then you're just stunning them for the normal attack. So that's why I like a 2-turn stun at least, so you're actually getting some use out of the stun and messing up the action skill chains. Because if you're using, like, for example, this guy with a defensive team, like maybe you put Fantasy Kirishima as your tank, then you're probably not going to be able to go first and you're just stunning them for their normal attack. So that's why I like 2-turn stuns, and that's why I would normally recommend to like probably make a 2-turn stun. Action skill 1, an arsenal of weaponry, DX level 2, deals 350% damage to a single opponent. Low chance 30% causing the opponent to bleed for 2 turns. And swaps character's weapon stance. Okay. I've been waiting for kind of a stance type thing to come into the game. We don't really have stances in this game. Alternating between katana and knives, upon swapping a stance, increases speed and power by 25% for 1 turn. Also increases character's critical hit rate by 10%. Stackable max at 40%. I like that too. Stacking crit rate stance that changes, and it increases your speed and power. I like the idea. I really, really do. That's cool. And if it actually was reflected in the game's animations, that would be even cooler. This feels more like a LR type kit right here. A stance feels like something they would give to an LR. That would have been very cool. I would have loved that for the 2-year anniversary to see like a LR or a PUR, whatever My Hero's version of an LR would be essentially. But I really don't expect that until like the JP 3-year anniversary is probably around the time we'll eventually see a new rarity or something like that. I mean, look at Grand Cross. It took them 4 years to get an LR in the game, so yeah. Action skill 2. Hidden Blades deals 300% damage to all opponents, decreases opponent's speed and plus Ultra Move skill impact by 20% for 3 turns, increases character's plus Ultra Move skill impact by 30% for 2 turns, shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 1 when used in a successfully executed skill chain. Ooh. Okay, I like this part right here because that turns this 4-turn cooldown into a 3-turn cooldown and this into a 5-turn cooldown. Now, 5 turns isn't ideal, but 3 turns is very, very, very ideal. So, like, the fact that he does have that 3-turn cooldown along with a 5-turn cooldown kind of saves the whole kit and makes it, like, it makes it solid, not too overpowered, and overall fair. I think you could even manage to reduce this to 5 turns right here so that it got reduced to 4 turns with the shortening of the action skill cooldown time, and I still don't think it'd be too overpowered, to be honest with you. Auto skill 1, multi-level mastery, knife mode. Increases character speed and critical hit rate by 40% for 2 turns, so more speed and crit rate. He's going to be fast and have like a lot of crit rate. I like Stain being a crit character. That's a good idea. He should be a crit character with what he is, and also a bleed character. Gives character the ability to use 2 normal attacks for 3 turns when a wave starts. I also agree that he should be able to use additional attacks because, you know, he takes on 3 UA high students at once. Definitely should be able to use 2 normal attacks. Katana mode increases character's power and critical hit skill impact by 25% for 2 turns when swapping from katana form. Gives character the ability to evade for 2 turns upon swapping to katana form. Interesting. Gives character the ability to make a last stand up to 2 times, only in katana form. Oh! Ooh, the stances got better. The stances got even better and more interesting. And he starts in knife mode. Okay. Okay, makes sense. Actually, this is... Dude, this should have been the celebration unit. Imagine the day they released Stain, they're just keeping Stain in their back pocket. So you know how like UI Goku was in the back pocket of Legends for forever and they didn't release him right away? I feel like Stain is the same way. Vigilante Deku was kind of the same way, and I don't really know. I wasn't expecting them to release him as early as they did, but I feel like Stain's very similar to Vigilante Deku, where he's just like a massive character that people want, right? And so I don't know if we'll see a Stain anytime soon, but I feel like when we do, he's going to kind of blow up the game, bring a lot of new people into the game, and be very good. I mean, Vigilante Deku did that. He brought so many new people into the game, like it's actually insane. So, yeah, this should be the new Stain that we get in game, though. That's what I'm saying. I like the switching of stances. That's such a unique idea, and it works. It works really well. Auto skill 2, the Will of a True Hero. Increased skill impact by 25% against heroes and villains, excluding All Might and Izuku Midoriya. Okay, right? Because they are true heroes. Dude, that's freaking beautiful. This is great. Gives character the ability to overwhelm. Okay, now this might be a little overpowered. Now that you got overwhelm, you got all the crit rate and stuff like that, he's gonna be way too strong because of the overwhelm. Maybe not overwhelm with everything else you've given him. If action skill is used in a second or later successfully executed skill chain, neutralizes opponent critical hit rate up and critical hit skill impact buffs. Okay, that's fair. If action skill is used in a third or later successfully executed skill chain, shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 1. Okay, now that you have 2 skills shortening the action skill cooldown time, I think you actually need to keep this at 6 turns, and I think you need to bump this up to 5. So this becomes a 3-turn cooldown, and this becomes a 4-turn cooldown. Or this could go to 5 still, and you could have 2 3-turn cooldowns. That would be okay too. But you can't have a 2-turn cooldown. Two-turn cooldowns would just be too overpowered, and it wouldn't be fair in the game. I say that now, but watch them introduce a 2-turn cooldown character eventually. But just think about it, because if you have all these things in your kit, shortening your cooldowns, and then on top of that you add in a memory like, let's say a DX'd Snatch. Snatch can lower your cooldown by 2. And then, so if you have a cooldown time of 2, and you lower your cooldown time by 2, you have no cooldown. Be a little bit broken, right? So that's why I say we can't really have a cooldown time of 2 in the game. I don't think they'll do that, but they could surprise me. They could prove me wrong. I didn't think they'd give a character everything on their kit Pierce until they put out Sue. So I still think Sue probably the best character in the game, realistically, even with the new Impact Fest characters. So not my art. Okay, and then we got the I'm not even gonna attempt to say that, but that's the art credit. So there we go. You love to see us 2-turn cooldown. Yeah, I don't know. 2-turn cooldowns. I don't know. Yeah, it's just not. It's never gonna work. Yeah, it's too it's too much. Okay, we continue. I'm gonna take a drink real quick. Thirsty work, you know. All right. Lloyd Garmy created a UR symbol of fear. I don't feel like that's accurate already. I already have a problem here. I'll explain here in a second. But UR symbol of fear stain ABL. Can anyone guess why I have a problem with this particular phrasing here? Stream is on a delay, so just kind of waiting for you guys to catch up so I can hear what you guys think. Yeah, it kind of belongs to another character. That was my problem with it. Okay, glad you guys could figure it out. Okay, so I'm not going to explain that to you too much there, but yeah, that's my main problem with the name. But anyways, let's see what the kit says. The name doesn't tell us everything. The kit could still be very good, right? So plus ultra move is called Bleeding Strike. Deals 700% damage to a single opponent if character speed is increased. High chance 80% of binding the opponent for 2 turns. Small chance 30% of causing the fear in the opponent for 3 turns. 3-turn fear is fine because it's a small chance, okay, or a low chance. That's fine. Okay, so not too overpowered so far. Auto skill 1. What? I think you meant action skill 1 because you have an auto skill 1 down here. Okay, action skill 1, Blade Rampage, deals 250% damage to all opponents, causes all opponents to bleed for 4 turns, low chance 15% of binding all opponents for 2 turns. If character's critical hit rate is increased, medium chance 45% of binding all opponents for 2 turns, low chance 20% of causing fear to all opponents. Could you have fit more into this when it comes to status ailments? Status ailments and crit rate, like what is that? Bleed, bind, more binding, and fear. Yeah. Wow. That is that might be a bit much. Okay, cooldown time of 6. Action skill 2, Purge the Fakes, deals 300% damage to a single opponent. If the opponent is affected by fear, it increases character's critical hit rate by 25% for 3 turns. I like that stipulation. Decreases the opponent's defense by 15% for 3 turns. Shoot, you're attacking one opponent, make it 30%. Make it higher than 15. 15's like nothing. If used in a successfully executed skill chain, increases the character's speed by 20% for 3 turns. I still don't like, I never have liked this idea of increasing speed with an action skill, and it's kind of the same thing I said before. It just does not help you in PvP, because by the time you've used this action skill, it's too late. You want to have the speed advantage turn 1, and the best way to get a speed advantage turn 1 is to have the speed up in your auto skill along with memories that give you speed up. So I've never been a big fan of action skills that actually give you speed up, and I feel like action skills that give you speed up are kind of honestly, well, that particular part of the action skill is kind of useless. The only reason this would be good is because of this part right here, where it can be used as a technical hit, which can make it useful for like VE Tower to get a high score. Cooldown times is 6 and 5. I feel like this cooldown might be a little bit long unless you reduce cooldowns down here somewhere. Cooldown time of 5. Once again, I feel like you could have cooldown times of 4 or 5, and that would be more ideal than 6 and 5. And auto skill 1 for a Right Society. Once per battle, increases characters plus ultra gauge by 30% if character's HP is 50% or higher. So at the start of battle, essentially. Gives character the ability to make a last stand 3 times. Okay, that's fine. And then auto skill 2, Killer in the Shadows. After receiving 3 attacks, multi-hit attacks count as 1 attack. Gain the ability to evade for 2 turns. Increases power by 30% for 3 turns after landing 3 critical hits. Okay, I'm fine with that. Actually, what I would like to do is I would like to take this. After receiving 3 attacks, gain the ability to evade for 2 turns. And I would change it to like after receiving 2 attacks, give the character the ability to evade like 3 times, as opposed to giving them a set amount of turns where they just evade all attacks, because that would be a little bit OP. You would have a new best tank in the game from this right here, where he just evades for 2 turns. Well, if he drew aggro, I guess I should say, he would be the best tank in the game, like Fantasy Ida. But still, like, that's a little bit OP, having him just straight up evade everything for 2 turns. That's kind of crazy. Okay, and then below that we have I think this is literally just straight from the, it looks like it's straight from the anime. Maybe not. It looks like it is to me though. But yeah, there's the art for this version of Stain. And then next, we have Ziegler 300 or Steven. And his Stain is called Knight of Pandemonium. I like that. That is a unique name. You put some thought into that. We have an int type Stain this time, so that's interesting. A green type Stain. The plus ultra move is called Nightmare Arsenal. It deals 650% damage to a single opponent with a high chance 70% to stun the opponent for 2 turns. Deals 350% damage to each other's opponent with a medium 40% chance of stunning the opponent for those turns. So I already have a problem. Like, I'm not going to read the rest just yet, but there is a problem here. High chance to stun. So what you're telling me is every time he uses this skill and lands a crit, he's just guaranteed to stun? That's essentially what you're saying. That's why you never see a high chance to stun in the game. Even like on Vigilante Deku. Because then it would be guaranteed. And that's a little bit way too overpowered. Way too overpowered. And then it says deals 350% damage to every other opponent. Every other opponent with a medium chance of stunning those opponents, which is actually a high chance. Yo, this is taking the new Celebration Ochako and putting her on steroids. That's what you've done right here. That is literally what this is. Just saying. Just saying. Like, actually. Like, go look at the kit. Go look at the kit. Very similar. Inflicts bleeding on all opponents for 3 turns. Decreases power and speed of all opponents by 25% for 3 turns. Reduces action skill cooldown time for character by 2 turns. Okay, so far the rest of that's not too bad. The rest of that's not terrible. Action skill 1, Terrifying Resolve. Decreases defense and skill impact of all opponents by 25% for 3 turns. Increases character speed by 20% and critical hit rate by 40% for 2 turns. Gives character the ability to make a last stand for 2 turns when using a second or later successfully executed skill chain. High chance 70% of inflicting fear on all opponents for 2 turns when used in a third or later successfully executed skill chain. I like the idea that you have to use it in a third skill chain to get that high chance. That makes it a lot more balanced, and it's only for 2 turns inflicting fear. That's not too OP. I will give you that, but once again, that is inflicting fear on all opponents. I assume that means you can miss on some opponents. As long as you can miss on some opponents, that's fine. But if you're guaranteed basically to inflict fear on all opponents for 2 turns, Once again, that might be too OP because then they just can't do anything. And that's just, yeah, that's too much. Cooldown time of 6 is actually a cooldown time of 4, so not bad on the cooldown for the first one. Cooldown time of 3 on this one, actually, as long as, so don't reduce action skill cooldown time anywhere else in here, and you're fine with your cooldowns. Action skill 2, Cole the Unworthy deals 300% damage to all opponents. Medium chance 50% to inflict bleed on all opponents for 3 turns. Low chance 20% of stunning the opponents for 1 turn if an opponent was already bleeding, like the stipulation. Medium chance 40% of stunning that opponent for 1 turn instead. Okay, so that's what the stipulation is there. So low chance, medium chance if they're bleeding. Increases character's power and skill impact by 25% and gives character double attack for 2 turns when used in a third or later successfully executed skill chain. I like that you've added in so many successfully executed skill chain parts. I like that this one's a double technical hit. I like that you have the status elements. I like that you have the crits. You guys are making this character right here. I'm gonna say it. I talk a lot about PvP when I'm looking at these kits because I try to like consider PvP. But I feel like a lot of times I forget to include VE Tower in my calculations here of when I'm saying if the kit is overpowered or not. And don't get me wrong, VE Tower, I actually enjoy it more than PvP. I just don't think about it for whatever reason. I think this kit is way too overpowered for VE Tower. I'm not gonna lie to you. Too many status elements, too much crit, double attacks. Like it's technical hits out the butt. This would be literally the best VE Tower in the game. So literally, this is definitely a VE Tower oriented character. I don't know if you meant for it to turn out that way, but that's how it's turned out, and it's way overpowered. So kind of crazy. Auto skill 1, Out for Blood, increases character speed, critical hit rate, and skill impact by 35% when there are no opponents inflicted with bleeding. When an opponent is inflicted with bleeding, these buffs are dispelled. Character skills that inflict bleeding gain piercing shots on targets that aren't bleeding. So we'll just add in piercing shot while we're at it when they're not bleeding. Okay. Yeah, we had the status elements, we had the crit, we had the technicals. What were we missing? We were missing piercing shots, so we might as well add it in. But you do have a stipulation on it that it only works against, you know, when they're not bleeding. So at least you have a stipulation on it. I'll give you that. It makes it a little less overpowered. Auto skill 2. Only the worthy shall live. When Stain knocks out an opponent, gains the ability to evade one attack at the start of battle if All Might or Izuku Midoriya are on the team. Character gains ecstatic for 4. Oh, yes. Let's throw in ecstatic while we're at it. Oh my goodness. You have broken VE Tower. VE Tower doesn't exist anymore. It is slaughtered by Stain. Holy crap. Actually, you have just slaughtered VE Tower. This character would be ridiculous in VE Tower. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Speaking of VE Tower, I don't know why this just popped into my head. Kind of see you guys talking about VE Tower over there in the chat. I'm a little bit upset that the last Plus Ultra VE Tower, I went and I got like number 7, I think, on the second to last day. And then I got pushed down to number 11 on the last day and didn't check it until after like rankings had already been done, because I was like, surely no one's gonna like do it on the last day, not that many people. And then I was number 11 and I was like, that's actually tragic. A big difference in hero gems there, 750 down to 500 for being number 11. I was literally so sad, but it is what it is. I hope that whoever got into the top 10, one of them was a free-to-play player, because they deserved it more than me, because I will spend the money, and hopefully they don't. But I know a lot of the top 10 players probably do spend money. All right. Next, let's see how many we have left. We're on Kira, so I'll remember that. We have Kaz, so 2, 3, Mia, 4, 5, 6, Alex, 7, Bakuman. Oh my goodness, you guys keep adding them in. You added them in today. You guys are terrible people. I'll read them though. I'll read them. Don't worry. Okay. This is gonna take a minute. This is gonna take a minute. I think Academia's next if they're continuing the order. If they don't add in a new VE Tower, I feel like normally they would have had something about. There's definitely going to be a data mine, right? I feel like there has to be a data mine to announce what the next VE Tower is going to be. and also the new club celebration. So I'm waiting for that, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, we should have news kind of on that stuff here eventually. All right, now we have Kira with the strength type. You are Vigilante's Conviction Stain. The plus ultra move is called Indomitable Will. Deals 500% damage to all opponents. That's not too overpowered. That percentage is actually good. Inflicts fear on all opponents for 2 turns. That's a guaranteed fear. That 2 turns might be a little bit too much. Maybe 1. I give it a chance. Give it a chance. Like a high chance, medium chance. Give it a percentage. It can't just be guaranteed, okay? Makes character hysteric for 3 turns. Whatever hysteric is, we'll have to see. And grants character the ability to make a last stand 1 time. Okay. Action skill 1, Swift Slash. Deals 300% damage to a single opponent. High chance 80% of making the opponent bleed for 4 turns. A medium chance 50% of stunning the opponent for 2 turns. Grants character evasion for 1 turn. So he has a last stand. He also has evasion. And he has a medium chance to stun 1 opponent for 2 turns. That's not too OP. High chance of making the opponent bleed. That's fine. Honestly, balanced. Very balanced. One of the more balanced ones I've seen lately. Okay? Very balanced. Cooldown time of 5. Could be lower unless you lower action skill cooldown time down here. I could honestly be 4, like it's not too overpowered. Action skill 2, Knife Trick. Deals 225% damage to all opponents. High chance 80% of making the opponents bleed for 2 turns. Medium chance 45% of character using the skill twice. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I like that. That's cool. The idea of using a skill twice is kind of sick. Like, that would make him very good. That would be so unique. That's a good idea. That's very, you know what? Cool. I like that. I don't think that's unbalanced. I really don't. 225% damage isn't, that's not too crazy. Like, I feel like you lowered the percentage intentionally because you put this medium chance here. It's not like 300% damage to all opponents. I don't feel like that's too overpowered. I don't feel like it's too overpowered. I see some of you guys kind of getting scared by it, but I don't feel like that's too overpowered. Alright, decreases the opponent's speed by 20%. Also increases speed of all allies by 20% if used in a successfully executed skill chain. Once again, I'll just kind of, if you took this right here, put it onto an auto skill, and say whenever an action skill is used, increases ally speed by 20%, that would make it better. I don't like increasing, well, even then, I don't know. I've said it so many times. I just don't like increasing speed with action skills because, yes, it may give you the turn 2 advantage, but what you want is the turn 1 advantage. It's just, Auto skill 1, Hero Killer's Will. When an opponent is bleeding, there is a low chance 30% of them becoming stunned for 1 turn. If Dabi is an ally, his critical hit rate is increased by 40%, speed is increased by 30%, and power is increased by 50% for 3 turns when the battle begins. If Himika Toga is an ally, her plus ultra gauge is increased by 40%, skill impact is increased by 45%, and critical hit rate is increased by 35%. I like the idea of having specific lead characters get buffs and bonuses and things like that. We need villains. We need good villains in the game. I can't say this enough. I feel like everybody feels like this, and we keep getting, what did we get? We got Impact Fest Deku again. Which is what I told you guys they were going to do that because that's their big seller, right? If you do the popularity polls like in Japan and stuff like that, you know, top characters, Deku or Raka, Bakugo. So it makes sense. But I feel like a lot of us just want good villains. So this is a cool idea. Now, the problem I have with this is that Stain is, he doesn't work well with others. So it doesn't make a ton of sense. But that's my only problem. Auto skill 2, you are not worthy. If opponent is a hero, character gains an increase in defense by 30% and an increase in critical hit rate by 20%. If opponent is a hero, the character's health is 40% or lower. Character becomes hysteric until defeated. If All Might or Izuku Midoriya is the opponent, character instead becomes ecstatic until defeated. Okay. And so what is Hysteria? Character skill impact is increased by 50%. Character's action skill cooldown time is decreased by 1. There's the cooldown. Okay. Character gains piercing shots. And, oh, okay, when he hits a certain amount of health, that's fine. Low chance, 20% of character missing their action skills. And he also can miss his action skills, so you've added a little bit of balance in there to the piercing shot. I feel like you almost don't even need to add in the chance of him missing his action skill, because that might be, I don't know, that might make him underpowered in a way. But so far, this is probably, I'm not going to lie to you, Kira, one of the more balanced kits I've seen. And so good job for making a relatively well-balanced kit while also adding in some unique stuff like the additional use of an action skill and adding in Hysteria, which is a unique effect that you came up with. So I feel like you've done a good job creating something unique here that is also balanced. So actually, like, solid job, honestly. Sorry if I hit the mic there, guys. Sorry if it hurt your ears or anything like that. Continuing, we have Kaz, and he has created a strength type hero killer Stain, a red type Stain. I feel like this is the Stain. If I were to pick a typing for Stain personally, I would probably pick a red type Stain. I feel like that's just, I don't know why. That's just where my mind goes when I think of Stain. I feel like that's where he would be. Plus Ultra Move, Devil's Slash deals 700% damage to a single opponent. High chance of binding the opponent for 2 turns, and medium chance to make the opponent bleed for 2 turns. Furthermore, medium chance of causing the fear for 2 turns, and gives allies the ability to evade 1 time. I like the idea of giving allies to evade 1 time. Very cool, very unique. At the same time, though, just coming back to the same thing, Stain doesn't work well with others, so hard to say. You've done the same thing. Auto skill 1. I think you meant action skill 1 here. Kaz, action skill 1. Okay, anyways. Devil's Rampage deals 300% damage to all opponents, high chance to make all opponents bleed for 2 turns, decreases the opponent's speed and defense by 20% if the opponent is bleeding for 2 turns. If opponent is bleeding, increases all allies' critical hit rate, and skill impact by 20% for 2 turns, cannot stack. I like that. If the opponent is bleeding, you increase the crit rate and skill impact of all your allies. That's cool. I like it. 4 turns. Not bad. Two auto skill 1s rise up. Yeah, actually. So for the second auto skill 1 here, now, all right, let's read this action skill here. Action skill 2, Hunger for Blood, deals 300% damage to a single opponent. If the opponent is affected by fear, increases all allies' defense by 20% and HP by 25% for 2 turns. Furthermore, decreases the opponent's power and critical hit rate by 15% for 3 turns. I like the debuffs. Debuffs are always good. Decreasing the opponent's power and critical hit rate is good. Increasing your allies' defense is solid, and their HP is like the bigger thing. I really like increasing HP because that just makes it more survivable. So honestly, this making your allies more survivable is very, very good. This just doesn't feel like a kit for Stain, though. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The things you have put in here, a lot of them don't feel like they should be for Stain because they work with your allies. And just, does anybody think Stain strikes you as a character who works with others? I feel like the answer is no, but you know, let me know what you guys think. I don't feel like he works with others. While you guys are responding to that, I'll continue on. I'll come back to that if you guys respond. Auto skill 1, You're Unworthy, gives all opponents fear for 2 turns when the battle starts. Not too, maybe too OP. That might be the OP part. That might be. If opponent has fear, increases all allies plus ultra gauge by 30%. Yeah, now it's too OP because you're fearing them at the start, increasing all your plus ultra gauges and your speed. Character gains piercing shot when character's HP is above 40%. So now you're also giving them piercing shot as well. Yeah, that might be a little OP. Might be a little OP. Okay, so he worked with other vigilantes. And yeah, he worked with All Might and Deku. Yeah, I'll give you that. Okay. All right, you know what, Kaz? Okay. They have made their case for you. I will accept your kit for what it is. All right, auto skill 2. A new path shortens all allies' action skill cooldown time by 1 every 3 turns, up to 2 times. If any ally is a villain, increases power and HP by 25%. Furthermore, gives all villains double attack for 2 turns when the battle starts. I said that and then now I instantly regret it because I still feel like this is, I don't know, it feels weird for a Stain kit to me. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah, it feels like, I don't know, it feels weird that Stain is gonna work. Like, this character is literally like the most synergistic character I've seen for a Stain character today, and that bothers me. I feel like he should be a like standalone character almost, but he's here for the party. He's here to help people, and it's weird to me. He's not bad by any means. It's just it's different, right? So that's kind of where I'm at on it. It looks good, solid kit. It's just weird to me. That's all I can say about it, really. But yeah, what you want me to go up to what? What am I going up to, Duckage? What do you want to see? All right. Now we got Mia. Oh, if I can scroll correctly. Mia. Mind you are Broken Legacy of the Top. Stain. Okay, very unique name. I feel like Mia is one of those people who just puts in a lot of thought when it comes to like naming things. Like, if there's anything we can count on Mia for, it's the names of her moves and what she's come up with. And I feel like this is very unique. Plus Ultra move, Katana Swipe. Deals 650% damage to a single opponent. High chance 80% of causing all opponents to bleed for 3 turns. Increases critical skill impact of all allies by 35%. And increases character's normal attack impact by 40% for 4 turns. Honestly, that's one of the least overpowered ones I've seen today. Fair play. Action skill 1, Blood Curdle. Medium chance, 60% of binding a single opponent for 2 turns. Higher chance of binding the opponent if the opponent is bleeding. Okay, good. Cooldown time of 7. That's a little bit long. I hope you have action skill reduction below. Otherwise, lower that action skill. Action skill 2, Crimson Malefic Aura. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. I like that. Deals 250% damage to all opponents. High chance, 70% of inducing fear in all opponents for 2 turns. Raises character's chance of making the opponent bleed for 2 turns, 15%. Also increases their skill impact and defense by 30% when used in a second or later successfully executed skill chain. So we've added in a technical hit as well. This is good for... This character will obviously be very good for VE Tower if you can lower their cooldowns. 7-turn cooldowns might stop them from being good, and VE Tower, which would make them kind of a mid-unit. So I hope you have action skill reduction somewhere in here. Auto skill 1, prove you have the soul of a hero. Decreases power of all opponents by 25% for 4 turns when battle starts. I like that decrease in power, gives you more survivability. This would be really good, like, for example, against a certain fantasy frog character who just, you know, pierces everybody. The best way to get around Pierce is to lower her power, right? So there you go. Further decreases the power of a single opponent by 10% if All Might is in the character's team. Also increases character's bleed hit rate by 10% when they land a critical hit, stackable up to 3 times. I like the idea of stacking the bleed hit rate. That's good. That's a good idea. Auto skill 2. Fulfillment of a required duty. When attacking, medium chance of causing the opponent to bleed for 2 turns. Increases character speed by 10% for every hero in the opponent's team. Max 30%. Also, once per battle, gives the ability to overwhelm when character's HP falls below 20%. Okay, so you've also given him overwhelm, but at the same time, I don't feel like your kit is super overpowered like that kit we read before with overwhelm. So I'll let you have it. Now, the one thing I am going to say, this is too underpowered. This is too underpowered. Lower your action skill cooldown times to make him more usable, specifically for things like VE Tower, and I think he becomes a lot better. I don't know if Celebration Deku is one of the best VE Tower units. Yeah, well, I'll go over that in my showcase. But yeah, I don't know if I can agree with that comment that he's one of the best. Just my opinion, my personal opinion. All right, now we have a lane. ABL UR Villains Assemble Killer Stain. Stain's basic attacks are AoE and they hit all opponents. I like that. That's not too OP. Actually, that's very unique. I've seen so many. You guys are so creative, actually. I've seen so many things today. I pray, I hope, really, really, truly, like, I wish just a single one of the developers, obviously, probably don't speak English, but I wish a single one of the developers ever saw your guys' kits and some of the things you guys come up with, and honestly, I wish they would steal part of what you guys do, or take or borrow or take ideas from it, because you guys honestly have probably better ideas than the developers. Like, not even just this right here, but a lot of the things I've talked about before in this particular live stream, you guys have some really good ideas. I just want to give a shout out to all you guys real quick. Like, actually, like, I genuinely mean that. I really do. I like all your ideas. Okay. Plus ultra move. Someone must be dyed in blood. How about they hire us? Should we do a Twitter raid? Yeah, with all, 16, 20 of us, we would have to literally get all of the DRC3 server on Discord, all of the My Hero server, and then go hit up every other gacha game that exists and get their servers to help us for a Twitter raid. That would be what we had to do. Yeah. So that'd be a little bit difficult to get them to actually listen to us. They're going to do what they want to do. Plus ultra move. Someone must be dyed in blood. Deals 600% damage to all opponents. A low 10% chance of bleeding all opponents for 4 turns. Steals all temporary buffs from all opponents and increases duration of debuffs held by an opponent for 2 turns. So that's crazy. Actually, talking about unique things. Yeah, kit creators rise up for real. This right here is actually nuts. Stealing, I never would have thought of this. How many of you guys would have thought of this? How many of you would have thought to steal the opponent's temporary buffs and put them on yourself and then extend the duration of their debuffs? This is actually crazy. Imagine someone who has stacked up like buffs from friendly reinforcements, and you just take them. You take them. That's insane. That's actually ridiculous. That's crazy. Okay, next. Action skill 1. Weaker will be cold. Multi-hit 3 attacks. Deals 300% damage to all opponents. A low 25% chance of paralyzing all opponents for specific turns. Low 25% chance of causing fear in all opponents for 2 turns. Characters get paralyzed based on their typing in PvP only for the turn regardless of typing. Strength in ABL equals 1 turn. Mind and Destruction equals 2 turns. And it equals 3 turns. What are you doing? Like, this is crazy. All this stuff, like, how many new unique things can you come up with in one kit? Honestly, if I had a reward to give for like most unique ideas, you have it right here, all in this one kit. Everything I've read so far, just, I like that. That's such a good idea. Different types have different turns, like, so you got to be careful like what you run against this character. That is so cool. Yeah, actually, guys, kit creators rise up. You know, go tell the developers what they need to do. That's actually insane. That's so good. Cooldown time of 5. The cooldown time, I mean, if you're going to be stunning people for 3 turns, I guess 5 turns isn't too bad. But that's only if they're in type. Like, I like it a lot. That's such a cool idea. Action skill 2, Indomitable Will. Increases plus ultra gauge of all allies by 40%. Applies Bloodstain. Low 10% chance of causing all opponents to bleed for 5 turns. Bloodstain nullifies bleed resistance and bleed damage reduction. Also increases bleed damage by 100%. Hey, bleed is now useful. At least I wasn't the only one who thought it was like a useless status element, you know? There was someone else out there just like me. So, yeah. Yeah, I agree, guys. That, like, some of the stuff in this kit is actually sick. Like, everything you have made different and unique. Even this right here, the Bloodstain. This might be my favorite kit. Like, don't vote based on my favorite, guys. Vote for whatever your favorite was, honestly. But so far, like, you have to admit, this is very, very unique. This is good. Just for uniqueness, this is good. Once again, though, we're not voting on uniqueness. We're not voting on brokenness. We're not voting on how balanced it is. It's literally at the end here, guys. Remember, just vote for whichever one you like the best. So keep that in mind. Cooldown time of 5. Auto skill 1, Intimidation. Stain's attacks always crit while the opponent is bleeding. Increases critical skill impact by 40% while the opponent is bleeding. Guarantees bleed succession while HP is greater than 50%. Stain's basic attacks have 20% chance to negate healing for the next turn. Okay. Okay. Not that, honestly, it's not too overpowered either. Like, you've done a good job coming up with new things and keeping it somewhat balanced, honestly. Auto skill 2, Malefic Aura. Gives character ability to overwhelm and underwhelm. Permanently increases action skill cooldown time of all opponents by 1 on entry. Yo, imagine we could do that to like Ida. That'd be beautiful. And permanently decrease action skill cooldown time of all allies by 1. Hey, that part might be a little bit overpowered, but imagine we can increase Ida's action. Imagine, okay, that's what we need in the game. That is actually, like, you big brain this character, honestly. We need to be able to increase the opponent's action skill cooldown time. That would be good. That'd be really cool. Stain takes 200% more damage from All Might. Fair enough. But Stain gains the ability to hide while All Might is on the field. I feel like you need to give him a little bit more, like, add in here Deku too, because technically Deku should be able to do more damage as well. Then it's more fair too, because it's not just one character you have to run to counter this character. There's 2 counters to the character, makes it more fair. Underwhelm increases damage to an opponent by a set amount based on the number of temporary debuffs held by the opponent. Okay. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. Based on the debuffs, fine. And what the heck is this art? It was all good until we got to the art here. What is? I'm so confused. Is that a helmet in his hand? Is that a crock pot in his hand? What is he holding? I'm so lost. He looks so weird. Is that a fedora? Or is that his hair? What is happening in this picture? I'm so confused. Anyways, everything else amazingly like unique. Even, I guess, you know what? Your picture was unique too. Your picture was unique too, but everything else very unique. I really like this kit. Like I truly did enjoy going through these things, seeing these ideas that you have. Like sometimes I think I have good ideas about certain things like that should be added into the game, and then I read this and my ideas are crap. Like these are some really good ideas, man. Honestly. He's holding your mom's he's holding your mom's kitchen appliances. Give them back. Yeah, food. You like the art? You guys like this art? Okay. You know what? To each their own. To each their own. That's fine. That's fine. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Gonna cook a bird in the crock pot. That's what it looks like to me too. All right, Barry. We have Overbleed to start with. Just explaining what that is. A status element that can only be used when bleed is inflicted on the enemy, cancels any and all healing effects on the opponent for 2 turns, and removes the aforementioned bleed effect. I like that. So in order for Stain to be able to cancel healing on a character, he has to first bleed them and then he can overbleed them. That is another unique thing. That's another good idea. So guys, you are literally, I'm telling you, kit creators rise up. Go work for My Hero Ultra Impact. Give us the game we want. Please. All right, you are ABL to the fake hero Stain. Plus Ultra. None of you are like him. Deals 550% damage to a single enemy. Low chance of inflicting bleed for 3 turns. A medium chance 40% of inflicting overbleed. Reduces cooldown of all allies by 1. Reducing cooldown is good. Makes it a 3-turn cooldown, 4-turn cooldown. Overbleed once again is good because it stops the healing. So solid. Action skill 1. I'll be the monster to fix everything. Fair enough. I feel like most everybody in their life probably has felt like that at some point. Like, I'll do the wrong thing for the right reasons, you know? And can you really fault Stain for that? Anyways, Deals 350% damage to all enemies. Medium chance 45% of inflicting bleed on all opponents for 3 turns. Low chance 25% of inflicting overbleed on all opponents. Okay, all opponents. That's okay. Nice. Action skill 2. I'll stand until my last breath. Gives character bullseye for 4 turns. Okay, no pierce yet. We'll see if we get pierce in here. Boosts the crit rate of all allies by 20%. Medium chance of applying fear for 3 turns to all opponents. Okay, honestly not too overpowered so far. Fairly balanced. Auto skill 1. The Hunter of the So-Called Justice decreases the speed of all opponent heroes by 30%. Yes, all heroes by 30%. Perfect. Just like Dabi. He should do more. 40%. Make it 40%. We need a 40% speed down. I'm saying it now. That makes him a must-use in PvP. Just having something like that would make him a must-use. Yeah, give him 40% speed down. Why not? Gives character 1 evasion after receiving 3 attacks by which an enemy was inflicted by fear. Okay? Make this two attacks. 2 attacks because you have the stipulation of fear, and it's going to be hard for you to get 3 attacks. It's going to be too hard to get that evasion. Make it 2 attacks. Auto skill 2. Increases the chance of character causing bleed and overbleed by 30%. I don't think you can just increase it by 30%. I think you need a reason. So increases the chance of causing bleed and overbleed by 30% if used in a successfully executed skill chain. And then for this next part, which is separate, increases speed of all allies by 20% for 3 turns when used in a second or later successfully executed skill chain. Make this a double technical hit, so it goes on to both your action skills, and then mwah, that'll be beautiful. Increases defense of character by 15% for every opponent that is bleeding. Hey, increasing defense as well for every opponent that's bleeding. That is unique. This picture, guys, okay, some of you guys need to get more creative with your pictures. I feel like I'm looking at a piece of art right here. This is like a Van Gogh painting. Please don't copy the code from My Hero Ultra Impact and make your own characters. Please don't do that. Please don't get yourselves in trouble. Making up Ultra Impact 2.0. Yeah. Please just make your, you know what? If anyone is smart enough to go see if Hydros will help you out, you know? Make your own unique game with your own unique kits, and I think you guys would do great with how creative you are. Not even exaggerating, like, you guys are very creative. Like, good job on these kits so far. Okay, where are we at? How many we got left? We got Alex, we got Bakuman. Okay, I'm gonna take a drink of water, and then we're gonna get through these last 2. I'm actually getting a kick out of reading the chat. If anyone makes like a snippet of a game that's not My Hero, don't use their stuff, their, you know, copyrighted stuff. But if you guys actually make, I want to see it. I want to be the first to play it because that would be sick. I would love, like, you know, you got the I know we got the people to do the arts in here. We got the people to make the kits. We just need someone to code. You guys can put together a pretty amazing game. I will play your game. If you guys make a game, I will play it on stream. I will tweet it out. I will do whatever I can to make that game widely known, as long as it's not copyrighted, you know, where you're using copyrighted material. Don't do that. Don't get yourselves in trouble. But all right, here we go. Last 2 kits. Alex Shinigami, the winner of the last one. Just to be clear, before I go through his kit, Alex cannot win because he picked the character. It wouldn't be fair to let him win when he picked the character, essentially. Also, that doesn't mean he can't be voted for, though. You guys can still vote for Alex. He could still technically win first place if you guys like his kit enough. However, the second place winner will be considered the actual winner of the contest, because Alex won the last one. Not saying that he'll even be in the top 4, but if that does somehow happen, Alex cannot win. Just so everybody's clear. All right? He already has the winner roll in Discord. He already has his sticker. He already has his emote. And those are the things you guys are competing for right now in the Discord. And the stickers get rotated with each winner. So Alex's sticker will be going away. He'll get to keep his emote, but his sticker will be going away and replaced by the new winner sticker. All right, so here we go, Alex. ABL, you are Righteous Society Stain. Plus ultra move is called Crimson Vengeance. Deals 700% damage to a single opponent. Inflicts all the opponents with fear for 3 turns. Decreases the fake hero counter of the target opponent to 0. Okay, what is fake hero counter? Are you actually going to one-shot people? Alex, am I about to read an overpowered kit? I'm scared. Removes all temporary buffs from the opponent. That seems overpowered. Increases the character's speed by 35% for 3 turns. Gives the character the ability to hide for 2 turns. Okay, he's able to hide too. So he inflicts all opponents with a fear. He's able to hide. And he removes all temporary buffs from the... Is it from all opponents or just one? No, just the one that he's damaging, it seems like. Okay. Okay. Continuing. Yeah, if people boosted the server, I would add more sticker slots. But I mean, either way, I kind of like the idea of just like seasonal stickers essentially for each contest. I kind of like that idea, to be fair. Like, I don't even know if we got the server boosted if I would like keep multiple stickers in a way, because I like the idea that the winner of each contest gets their own sticker for that set amount of time, you know? And even though Alex can't win this contest, he could win the next one because he's not going to be the winner of this one. You know what I mean? And then he could get another emote later on and and change his sticker. So I kind of like that. But I don't know. We'll see. Action skill 1. Bloodlust Blade. Deals 350% damage to all opponents. Increases... Oh, I literally just read this. Guys, we're getting to the end. Okay, it's been... Apologies. We continue. Cooldown time of 4. Increases the character's skill impact and speed by 25%. Wait, no, we didn't read this. I'm just... Wait, what? Oh, my brain hurts. Okay. We read the plus ultra before. The plus ultra is just similar to the first action skill. That's why I was confused. Okay. First action skill, Bloodlust Blade. Deals 350% damage to all opponents. Increases the fake hero counter of the opponents by 7. Whatever the fake hero counter is, haven't found out yet. Medium chance, 45% to make the opponent bleed for 3 turns. Increases the character's skill impact and speed by 25% for 3 turns. Lowers the character's action skill cooldown time by 1. Okay, that makes it a 3-turn cooldown for both of these. That's fair, as long as you're not reducing action skill cooldown time anywhere else in here. Otherwise, it becomes too overpowered. Action skill 2, Crippling Stab. Deals 500% damage to a single opponent. Increases skill impact by 30% if the opponent has a last stand. Gives 1 last stand to the character if the opponent is a hero. This skill has Pierce when used in a 3rd successfully executed skill chain. We like that. Increases the fake hero counter of the opponent by 5. High chance, 55% to make all the opponents bleed for 3 turns. Fair enough. Decreases the defense of all opponents by 20% for 3 turns. Honestly, Alex, not overpowered so far. I'm proud of you. Unless this fake hero thing is ridiculous. But so far, not overpowered. I'm actually... Hey, this is good. This is good so far. And no explosions yet, no deaths. And why am I reading it from Discord when you made the whole picture? Okay, hold on. Okay, we continue. Hey, your picture's a little bit blurry here, man. Okay, continuing. Auto skill 1, Ruthless Killer. For every fake hero counter the opponent has, increases the damage they take from bleeding by 5%. Okay, so that's what fake hero does. Every time you basically stack it over time. I like the idea of stacking the amount of bleeding damage. I don't like the idea that it takes at least, 2 to 3 turns to get your full stacks, I guess. Do you have a max amount of stacks you can get to, or can you just stack it infinitely? Because if you can stack it infinitely, then bleed eventually, like, you're gonna land a bleed on somebody, and then it's gonna be like 5% times, I don't know, 50 stacks, and then they're just dead. 1 hit bleed. You might have made an overpowered character on accident if you could 1-hit bleed people eventually. Hard to say. Hard to say. That'd be interesting to see. Okay. Gives the character Bullseye if there is a hero on the opponent's team. Gives the character Persistence for 3 turns when their HP is below 30%, so he's just going to die if he ever drops below 30% HP, essentially. Removes 3 temporary buffs at the start of every turn for the opponent with the most fake hero counters. Okay, I like that idea. I like the idea of removing the buffs from the hero with the most, the person with the most fake hero counters. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to do this real quickly. Alright, hopefully you guys can see. Oh, just hold it right. Ah, come on. Alright, hopefully you guys can see the last auto skill. For every fake hero counter on the target that the target has, increases the character's skill impact by 5% when attacking them. So you're increasing their skill impact too for every fake counter, making him really strong, giving him persistence at the end. He's just always going to hit max damage if he ever drops below 30% health, but he only has 3 turns of that, so not too overpowered so far. I don't think it's too overpowered. Character has a high chance of causing bleed, plus 30% when hiding. Increases character's critical hit rate, defense, and speed by 35%. That's a little OP. 35% crit rate right off the rip. And defense and speed. Yeah, that's a little OP. Maybe a lower percentage. Gives character the ability to hide for 2 turns when battle starts. When the character dies, stuns all opponents for 2 turns. You know what? Okay, at least it's not a death explosion. I do like the idea of death abilities, though. Like, you guys, I think that is unique, and I think that's something they should add into the game to make it a little bit more tricky to kill certain people. And Stain is one of those people that should be tricky to kill, you know? Because if you kill him, then he stuns all opponents for 2 turns. That would truly destroy a team in PvP. Because then your team, even though you lost a character, would just be able to hit the enemy team for 2 turns with them not being able to fight back, which would be OP. They would have to be careful about what they did. Like, they would have to make sure they had, like, for example, Fantasy Kirishima drawing aggro right before they kill your Stain. That way they know they're going to be stunned, and it doesn't matter. Or they need to have, like, the new Celebration Deku who can cleanse the stun, or something like that. Then it would be alright. So, yeah, not bad. Actually, fairly balanced. Not too ridiculous, man. I am impressed. You have gotten better. Even better than before. Like, good job. Looks good. Solid kit. I always love these pages when you make them. Very nice. If you ever want to share that template with anybody, I don't know if you would, but, you know, feel free to do that in the Discord, because I really do like looking at it in this format. Like, it's such a good job. Nice. All right. Our very last person. You want a channel for original gacha game development. Okay. I will do that after this live stream, or maybe after I finish going over these kits. I'll just do. Actually, Mast, if you're still there, I think you're still there. Yeah, I see you in chat. If you could just add that channel in, let's do it. I don't know. Original game development. I don't know, put it somewhere at the bottom, not under like any, don't put it under any game tab, because it's obviously not part of My Hero. It's not under anything else. Just give it its own tab somewhere, and we'll do that. Thanks, I appreciate it. Or I can do it after the stream, either way. All right, Bakuman, last one to do. You are on the fly Stain climax battle. So we have another climax battle Stain. All right, starts off with plus ultra wild abandon, deals 600% damage to a single opponent. Character's critical hit rate increases character's critical hit rate by 30% for 3 turns. Paralyzes the opponent for 2 turns if the opponent is inflicted with bleed. That's a guaranteed paralyze. I think it needs to be like a high chance. High chance 75% or 70% to make opponent bleed for 3 turns, and makes character ecstatic for 3 turns if the opponent is inflicted with bleed. Yeah, I don't think you can just have a guaranteed paralyze. Makes it a little too overpowered. Give it a percentage and then it's not so bad. And then making character ecstatic is good for like VE Tower. That's solid as well. Action skill 1, Wild Slash, 4 turns, deals 350% damage to a single opponent. Medium chance 40% to make the opponent bleed for 3 turns. Decreases the opponent's defense by 15%. Decreases pro hero opponent's defense by 20% for 3 turns. Okay? I like how it specifically targets pro heroes right here and decreases their defense. I actually would just change that probably to all heroes though, because I'm so tired of heroes being the meta. Not that I don't love the heroes, it's my hero Ultra Impact, but there's so many villains. They deserve their time to shine, right? So decrease all hero opponents' defense. Why not? Why not? Okay. Action skill 2. Knife Trick is 4 turns. It deals 300% damage to all opponents. It decreases all opponents' speed by 20% for 3 turns. Increases skill damage by 20% and increases character's critical hit rate by 30% for 3 turns when there is a hero opponent. Medium chance 40% to inflict all opponents with fear for 1 turn. You might be able to make it 2 turns. 2 turns would be fine, I think, for this. And then critical hit rate of 30% is good. Speed is fine. Increasing skill damage is fine. Like this action skill right here, not too overpowered. This is a perfectly balanced, fine. I like the name, Knife Trick. I like the Knife Trick name, honestly. Auto skill 1, Indomitable Will. Once only, inflicts all hero opponents with fear for 1 turn at the start of battle. Make it 2, why not? At the start of battle, every turn, medium chance, 30% to inflict pro hero opponents with fear for 1 turn. Okay, every turn. I like that. I like that. That is good. So at the start, you inflict them all heroes, and then every turn, you have a medium chance to inflict pro heroes. Okay. Fair enough. Increases chance 30% to inflict the opponent with bleed and increases critical hit rate by 25% if opponent is afflicted with fear. So you've taken it to where, like, I think you're the first one to actually do this, to say if they have a fear, all right, now we're going to increase our crit. Most people had it like if they have a bleed, they increase crit or damage or stuff like that. So you're the one to focus on fear, so that is unique to your kit. Auto skill 2, Hero Hunter, increases character speed by 20% if the opponent is inflicted with fear, increases character's power by 5% every time the opponent is inflicted with fear or bleed, up to 10 times, increases critical hit damage by 40%, and character lands a critical hit if the opponent is paralyzed. And then you have your arts here, of course, the crazy tongue out stain. I feel like the most unique part of this kit is the fact that you have gone out of your way to make it so you increase your crit with fear, and to also make it so you target pro heroes specifically, as well as targeting regular heroes. Like, you have made the stain focus on going after heroes, which is what he does in the anime, and I like that you were true to like the source material, if that makes sense. And for a climax battle character, climax battle characters aren't too overpowered when we get them, obviously. Like Best Jeanist and All For One aren't super crazy. Gentle Criminal's a little bit better, but I feel like in terms of a climax battle character, this is a very good climax battle character overall. 4-turn cooldowns, solid. So if we're just talking in terms of climax battle characters, this is a really good climax battle character. All right, with all that said, we are at the end. I'm gonna take a drink because my throat literally hurts, guys. And then we'll get to the voting. And I'll also, if you guys have anything else you want to talk about while we're setting up voting or whatever, we'll do that too. I can see that a lot of you guys actually got good polls. So out of the 60 votes I have on that, congratulations to the 52% of you that got good polls. I'm there with you on the other 37% who got shafted. I feel your guys' pain, and to everyone who got okay polls, you can't be too upset about that. I'm gonna go ahead and end that poll now on here, and I'm gonna set up the first voting. So for the first 4 people, I'll kind of recap their kits because there were a lot, right? Before you guys vote, just starting with Common Folk here, he had the Sword Dance, he had the Fearsome Revenge, and he had Piercing Shot with a successfully executed skill chain, and this was his art. And he also had the increase characters plus Ultra Gauge if you have All Might on the team. And then if the opponent is bleeding, decrease their speed and power by 30% for 3 turns. And you can also affect Heroes Assemble characters specifically. That's what this one, like the main draw of this kit was. Character deals increased damage to Heroes Assemble and Impact Fest characters for Common Folk. The second persons we have is Infinite 2.0, and they had Blood Curdling Kill, deals 750% damage to a single opponent, decreases the opponent's defense and speed, medium chance of inflicting fear on all opponents, high chance of inflicting bleed, medium chance of inflicting paralyze, higher chance of paralyzing. Just a lot going on in that plus ultra, right, status element wise. And then you, for the first action skill, medium chance of inflicting bleed, low chance of paralyzing, more status elements, of course. And then for the second action skill, we have Technical Hit, decreases their defense and their critical hit rate, and increases your own power and speed and stuff like that. And then also another status element, Fear on all opponents. So a lot of status elements going on here. And then increases your plus ultra move skill impact, increases max HP and defense by 25% if the opponent is paralyzed, so on and so forth. So that's the gist of Infinites kit. Next, we had Kaido. Kaido had the plus ultra revolving blood, and this one regenerated all allies HP by 20%, which was unique, and increased characters attack by 10%, which was stackable. So you could literally stack this infinitely and eventually have a really, really strong character, which I thought was interesting. But just currently in the game, we don't really have a lot of purpose for stacking. But that was like the main draw for me on Kaido's kit, is that there was just this kind of stacking character that could potentially be really good eventually if long form content ever comes out in the game. And then lastly, we had Duckage for this vote, and Duckage had the plus ultra Blood Curdle Eternal Paralysis, deals 750% damage to a target enemy, decreases their defense and speed, high chance of inflicting bleed for 2 turns, medium chance of stunning. The character gains the ability to make last stand, gains the ability to evade, so a lot of survivability on this stain. And then has the plus ultra gauge, increases his own plus ultra gauge on an action skill, has a medium chance to stun, actually becomes high with a crit rate. Then the second action skill had a unique thing called Fear Strucken to all opponents, and down here, and he had all these other unique things too. I'll just remind you what they all are. So Fear Strucken gives minus 100% critical strike chance, which is insane. When the character gains the ability to evade or is given a barrier, this effect immediately removed, and Stain recovers 10% of their max HP. So he just gains HP. That part was a little bit weird to me, didn't make a whole lot of sense. We also had Frenzied, which gives plus 45% skill impact, plus 30% speed, and plus 25% critical hit impact. We also had Victimized, which I thought was a weird name to say, and it gave me weird images in my mind of Deku in an alley with Stain. But Victimized, attacks from Stain deal 15% more damage and have an additional 20% chance to score a critical hit. So those are the 4 you're voting for first. And I'll give you guys just a minute here to get those voted for, and then we will do the next 4. Dude, you named it. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I didn't name it. We have a tie between Common Folk and Duckage. Need one more vote to break the tiebreaker. There's 18 people watching. We have 14 votes. Make sure you're voting. Sorry, Duckage. All right, there it is. There it is. We're going to end the poll. All right, so Common Folk is our first bracket winner. And the way this is going to work is we're going to do multiples of 4, and then we'll take the top person in each bracket to go into the finals. All right, so Common Folk wins the first bracket. All right, let me make the poll real quick, and then I will go over the next 4 people. Okay, for these next 4 kits, first we have Mist a Zombie that you can vote for. Plus Ultra Move, not worthy, deals 550% damage to a single opponent, reduces character's action skill cooldown time by 1 if you land a critical hit. This attack will KO an opponent regardless of last stand or persistence when they're below 10% HP. That was the unique part of this one. KOing a character below 10% HP just guaranteed, and ignoring persistence. That's really cool for going against characters with persistence, but I feel like persistence isn't a big enough deal to like really warrant that, but at the same time it's cool. It's very unique, right? And then we had a high chance of binding all opponents for 2 turns if they're bleeding, which is fine. Increase the skill impact by 20% if they're a pro hero, so we do have the thrown in pro hero part. Character gains 100% critical hit chance and 20% critical hit skill impact against opponents who are bleeding and bound. They have to have both those status elements though, but I find that pretty unique that you gain a guaranteed crit, so that's also really cool. And then for the last auto skill, when character's health reaches 50%, then they increase speed and plus ultra gauge. Once again, I wasn't happy about the speed being below 50%. I thought it should have been like before he hits 50%, because you want the speed advantage turn 1, but that's just my opinion. For the next person, Draco Galaxy, to fix this broken society stain, they had plus ultra hero killer stealth rush, which did 630% damage to a single opponent and caused them to bleed for 5 turns, medium chance of stunning them, which is fine. They deal 400% damage to multiple opponents, medium chance of causing bleed for 3 turns, and stun. Just kind of like normal stuff here. I don't think anything's too crazy with this kit in particular. Puts fear into the opponents for 6 turns. That was a little bit too high. And confusing. You're just like immobilizing the opponents. That was too much. That was a little bit overpowered. And then first auto skill, You Are True Heroes, increases character's power by 25% if there's a Todoroki on the team, and resistance by 30% if you have Deku on the team, or if All Might's on the team, power by 20%, or if Tenya Iida's on the team, by speed by 30%. So that's kind of unique, having specific characters on the team to give you certain stats and stuff like that. So that was Draco Galaxy's kit. And next we had the Masked kit, who had a ton of power, like one of the highest power stats you're going to see in the game, but also one of the lowest HP stats you'll see in the game. So kind of crazy how much power this guy has, though. He's just going to hit like a freight train for Stain, which is, I don't think you guys understand how hard this character would actually hit. They would hit so hard. Deals 700% damage to a single opponent, increases character's critical hit rate and critical skill impact by 40% for 3 turns. They have a high chance of inflicting bleed, which is fine. Low chance of inflicting stun, which is fine. It actually becomes a medium chance with a crit. Increases stun chance to a medium chance if opponent is already bleeding, which makes it a high chance. So you can have a high chance to stun, a medium chance to stun, or low chance to stun, all within one skill, which is definitely unique and interesting. And then the action skill 1 deals 350% damage to a single opponent, low chance 30% of causing the opponent to bleed for 2 turns. This is the most unique part of the whole kit though, swapping weapon stance, and then you get a few additional buffs from swapping weapon stance, which is down here in the auto skill. So knife mode increased character speed and critical hit rate by 40% for 2 turns when the battle starts, and gave the character the ability to use 2 normal attacks for 3 turns when a wave starts, which is really cool. They start out in knife mode, and then katana mode is what they switch to. It increases character's power and critical hit skill impact by 25% for 2 turns, making your plus ultra turn hit harder, which is kind of unique. Gives the character the ability to evade for 2 turns upon swapping to katana mode, so it gives them a little bit more survivability, which is cool. And then gives character the ability to make a last stand for up to 2 times, which is also good as well. So just in this one form, they can make a last stand. So I think the idea of having these switching stances is really, really unique. And then we also have this additional increased skill impact by 25% against heroes and villains, excluding All Might and Izuku. And then if you use your action skills in a skill chain, you can also neutralize crit hit rate up and critical hit skill impact buffs. So you can neutralize enemy buffs as well. And then you have action skill cooldown time too. That makes these action skill cooldown times actually fairly decent. So overall, a very unique kit. The stances are a unique way to go about it, and interesting stats up here. Like, very unique kit overall for Mast. And then lastly, we have Lloyd Garmy, who has Symbol of Fear Stain, plus ultra move is called Bleeding Strike, deals 700% damage to a single opponent. If the character speed is increased, high chance of binding the opponent, small chance of causing fear. First auto skill does 250% damage to all opponents. That's not too much. Low chance of binding the opponents if the character's critical hit rate is increased. Medium chance of binding all opponents. Low chance, 20% of causing fear to all opponents. Kind of typical stuff there. Cooldown time of 6 though, which is a longer cooldown. Purge the Fakes deals 300% damage to the opponents. If the opponent's affected by fear, it gives them a critical hit rate, decreases their defense. If used in a successfully executed skill chain, increases their speed. I'm not a big fan of that. Once again, putting speed on an action skill, I feel like it's better on an auto skill personally. Auto skill 1 for a Riot Society, once per battle, increases the plus ultra gauge. Auto skill 2, after receiving 3 attacks, gives the character the ability to evade for 2 turns. So I feel like this kit is very typical of what you would actually see in Ultra Impact. I don't feel like there's a lot of craziness or uniqueness, too much going on with this one. Like, there is some uniqueness, but like not anything like crazy like we've seen in some of the other kits really. So those are the 4 kits you guys are voting for. You're voting for Lloyd, you're voting for Mast, you're voting for Draco, or you're voting for who else was in this one? Mr. Zombie. Yeah, just making sure. Okay, so those are the 4 kits you're voting for. And it looks like we already have 13. So I'll give you guys another minute or 2, and we'll see if anything changes. All right, Draco Galaxy moves through on this one for that bracket. And let me set up the next one. Don't listen to Kaz. Vote for whoever you want. Vote for whoever you want. All right, wait till I go through these to vote, please. That way you guys are just getting a full refresher before you vote. All right, so Ziegler has the medium chance to stun, inflicts bleed on all opponents, decreases the power. Decreases the defense, gives character the ability to make a last stand, high chance of inflicting fear on all opponents. Deals 300% damage to all opponents, medium chance of inflicting bleed. If the opponent was already bleeding, medium chance of stunning them, increases character's power, has a technical hit, gives them double attack for 2 turns when used in a 3rd successfully executed skill chain, which is unique. One of the first kits to do that here, where it gives them additional attack. We did have a few that gave additional attack, but this was one of the first ones. Auto skill, Out for Blood, increases character speed, critical hit rate, and skill impact by 35% when there are no opponents afflicted with bleed. When opponent is inflicted with bleed, these buffs are dispelled. Character skills that inflict bleeding again gain piercing shot on targets that aren't bleeding, so he has piercing shot when they're not bleeding. When Stain knocks out an opponent, gains the ability to evade 1 time, which is unique. And then at the start of battle, if All Might or Izuku is on the team, character gains Ecstatic for 4 turns. So just a lot going on there with that kit that gives him a lot of buffs, essentially. And then we have Kira with Vigilante's Conviction, Stain, and this one can inflict fear on all opponents for 2 turns. It can do Hysteria, and Hysteria is a unique skill. Hysteria character skill impact is increased by 50%. Character's action skill cooldown is decreased by one. Character gains piercing shot, which is really good, and then low chance of missing action skills, which is kind of fair because you are increasing your skill impact by 50% and you are giving yourself piercing shot. That's going to be like a 1-shot, like crazy Stain. So that's actually what a lot of this kit is built around. And then we also have in here this part, if Himikatoga is an ally, increases plus ultra gauge, skill impact and critical hit rate is increased and stuff like that. And then you also have Dabi. If Dabi's an ally, critical hit rate is increased, speed and power. So a unique action skill right here that increases stats depending on who's on your team. So this was a unique kit and there was a lot of thought put into this one. Then we have Kaz. Kaz has the Hero Killer Stain, and the plus ultra move is called Devil Slash, and it deals 700% damage to a single opponent, high chance of binding the opponent, and you can cause fear to the opponent, and you also gain evasion, and you can bleed as well. So bind, bleed, fear, evasion, little OP. Action skill 1, Devil's Rampage, does speed down, defense down, does a bleed, does skill impact up, does critical hit rate up for all allies. Yeah, a little bit OP again. Deals 300% damage to a single opponent. If the opponent is affected by fear, increases all allies' defense by 20%, HP by 25%. That's a lot of extra survivability. I do like that. That's not too OP for that part. Furthermore, decreases the opponent's power and critical hit rate. Decreasing their power and crit rate, and also increasing your defense and HP, though, is just kind of like scummy because they're just not going to be able to damage you. Auto skill 1. You're Unworthy, gives all opponents fear for 2 turns when battle starts. If the opponent has fear, increases your plus ultra gauge by 30% and speed, and you gain piercing shot when you're above 40%. Yeah, you made him a little OP. And then auto skill 2, a new path, shortens all allies' action skill cooldown time by 1 every 3 turns, up to 2 times if an ally is a villain. So yeah, I would say Kaz, yours was a little bit crazy. And then last but not least for this bracket, we have Mia, who has Broken Legacy of the Top Stain. I once again said that I think Mia comes up with unique names like Crimson Malefic Aura and Prove That You Have the Soul of a Hero. Like, I feel like she puts a lot of thought into what she comes up with her move names. Deals 650% damage to a single opponent, high chance of causing the opponents to bleed, increases critical skill impact of all allies by 35%. The first action skill has a medium chance of binding, higher chance of binding if the opponent is already bleeding. Cooldown time of 7, which is a little too long and makes it a little underwhelming. The second action skill deals damage to all opponents. It has a high chance of fearing them, raises your chance of making them bleed, also increases your skill impact and defense when used in a skill chain, so you have your technical hit as well. Like, it's not bad. Overall, it's not a bad kit. The only problem I had with it was like the cooldowns really that make it kind of underpowered. And then for the rest of it, can increase bleed when attacked, medium chance of causing the opponent to bleed for 2 turns and stuff like that. That's basically a bleed counter essentially. That's kind of like Kaminari's paralyzed counter, just less good. So yeah, that's Mia's kit. Those are the 4 kits you guys are voting for, and it looks like we already have most of the votes in. So I'll go ahead and end the poll, and it looks like Kaz is our winner for this bracket. I don't know why you guys all listen to Kaz. He asked you to vote for him, and I guess you guys are just nice people. So Kaz, you are the winner in that bracket. No, the Discord does not have Nitro as of right now, at least not my Discord. The My Hero Ultra Impact official Discord does have Nitro. I'm going to be setting up this next poll really quickly. I'll take a look at that in a minute, Alex. I just saw that. All right, our last set before the final. Here we go. All right, I'm going to go over these really quickly. Elaine had all the unique stuff, like so much unique stuff in this kit, like actually an insane amount of unique stuff, right? Stain's basic attacks are AoE, they hit all opponents. We don't have like any AoE basic attacks, so that was obviously really unique. He can steal temporary buffs from opponents and give them to himself. That's unique, that's really cool. Depending on the character type, he can paralyze them longer. For strength and ABL, it's 1 turn. Mind and destruction is 2 turns. It's 3 turns. Like, that's so cool, and that's really unique as well. And then for this action skill, you have a new type of status element, Bloodstain, which nullifies bleed resistance and bleed damage reduction, and also increases bleed damage by 100%, actually making bleed a viable status element, which is really unique and cool as well. Cooldown times are decent of 5 turns. And then for his first auto skill, Stain's attacks always crit while the opponent's bleeding, so that's really nice as well. And then Stain's attacks have a 20% chance to negate healing for the next turn, so just a chance to negate healing is also really, really good. And then for auto skill 2, gives the character the ability to overwhelm and underwhelm. Underwhelm is also another new thing, where it increases damage to the opponent by a set amount based on the number of temporary buffs held by the opponent. So the more buffs the opponent gives themselves, the more damage they're going to take, which is just kind of funny. That's kind of a crazy, crazy kit. Next, we have Barry, who has Overbleed, which is a status element that can only be caused when bleed is inflicted to an enemy, and what it's going to do is cancel any and all healing effects on an opponent. This could be really, 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 really good on like going against Fantasy Kirishima, because if you've ever gone against a Fantasy Kirishima with good healers behind him, it's really annoying unless you have Pierce. So this would be a good way to like get around Fantasy Kirishima. You can stop his healing. So this is actually a very cool and unique status element right here from Barry, to be completely honest. Plus Ultra, none of you are like me, and this has a chance to do Overbleed. Same thing with Action Skill 1. Has a chance of inflicting Overbleed as well. Action Skill 2 gives character Bullseye, so in addition to having Overbleed, this Stain has Bullseye, which would be good for like going against Ida, which makes sense because, you know, Stain fights Ida. Makes way too much sense, a lot of sense. And then it also boosts the crit rate of all allies, which is good, and then has a medium chance of applying fear. Decreasing the speed of all heroes by 30%, gives character 1 evasion, so like giving yourself evasion as well. And then this auto skill down here increases the chance of character causing bleed and overbleed by 30% as well. You need a stipulation on that, once again, like a technical hit. If it had a technical hit, then it would be better. Just increasing their overall chance of causing overbleed is a little bit too OP and makes overbleed too OP. So that, once again, was Barry's kit. Now we have Alex Shinigami's kit, and it is the ABL UR Righteous Society Stain. And so for this one, I felt like Alex did a fairly good job balancing it compared to some of his previous kits. And so removes all temporary buffs from the opponent, increases the character's speed by 35%, gives the character the ability to hide for 2 turns. Then you have this fake hero counter. That was the main draw of his kit. You have it in the plus ultra move too. The more fake hero counters you do basically throughout the kit, the more effects you're going to get. So down here in the auto skills, for every fake hero counter the opponent has, increases the damage they take from bleeding by 5%, gives the character Bullseye if there is a hero on the opponent's team. Gives the character persistence when their HP is below 30%. Removes 3 temporary buffs at the start of every turn from the opponent with the most fake hero counters, which is really cool. Removing temporary buffs is unique and interesting. And then auto skill 2, for every fake hero counter the target has, increased character skill impact by 5% when attacking them. So you're just going to get a whole bunch of extra skill impact. So you could potentially have a one-shot skill right here if you stack up enough fake hero counters on somebody. So that's also very unique, but it will take a while to scale and to stack. And then lastly, we had Bakumon's kit, where he had the plus ultra called Wild Abandon, which is going to increase the crit rate for 3 turns, paralyze the opponent, and inflict them with bleed. Oh, sorry, paralyze the opponent if they're afflicted with bleed. High chance to make the opponent bleed though, and then and makes character ecstatic for 3 turns if the opponent is not afflicted with bleed. So a lot of good stuff happening there. And then decreases the opponent's defense. We always like decreasing defense because it makes it easier to kill people. Decreases pro hero's defense by 20%, so an even bigger percentage than normal opponents, which is good as well. You have the second action skill Knife Trick, which I really like that name. Has a medium chance to inflict all opponents with fear for 1 turn. And then the auto skills down here, once only inflicts all heroes opponents with fear for 1 turn at the start of battle, and at the start of every turn you have a medium chance to inflict pro heroes with fear for 1 turn. So that's kind of the idea of Bakumon's kit, is that he just hates pro heroes and he's going to shut them down completely, which is really unique and one of the only Stain kits we saw that did that. So I think you guys have probably already voted for who you wanted, but if you haven't voted yet, it looks like we don't have quite all our votes yet. We have 9 of them. Go ahead and vote for whoever you want, and I will wait a second. All right, I'm going to call the poll there, and we're going to end it because it doesn't look like it's going to change much after that. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a little semifinal here between Elaine and Alex to even out the votes, and then whoever wins that is going to move on to the finals. All right, here we go. Okay, so once again, Elaine had all the really unique stuff in their kit, and then Alex was down here with the unique fake hero counter. So fake hero counter, and then the stun based on typing, the taking buffs and giving them to yourselves, and then basic attacks are AoEs. Dang, I'm not gonna lie, guys. If I were to vote, if I were to cast my vote, I would personally, no offense, Alex, I think Elaine made a crazy good kit. And I would have liked to see Elaine move on to the finals. But it looks like the votes are coming in for Alex, so I gotta give it to Alex. So Alex, you go on to the finals, but even if you win, you can't win. So just keep that in mind. All right, so that's what we're going with. All right, we got our final four. I'll recap all of their kits, please, for this final one. Actually, I'm not even going to put the poll up. I'm not going to put the poll up until after I've gone over their kits. I'm going to make the poll real quick, but I'm not going to put it up. I'm going to force you guys to sit here and listen to me. You will listen to me. Let me finish setting up the poll real quick and then we'll go through these. Okay, so the final four that you guys are going to have the opportunity to vote for here in a second are going to be Common Folk, Draco Galaxy, Kaz, and Alex. All right, so we'll start with Common Folk. We'll just recap really quickly what their kits are. I'll post the poll right after I recap, so that way you guys aren't voting before you see what all the kits do, because you've probably forgotten with how many kits there are. All right, so for Common Folk, had a high chance to bleed, decreased the opponent's defense, had piercing shot, also had bullseye on the same plus ultra skill. This skill, for the first action skill, Sword Dance, lands a piercing shot when used in a successfully executed skill chain. Piercing shots and bullseye make this character very good, obviously. Medium chance to inflict fear or bleed on the opponent when a counter has been made. And so this character has the ability to counter and nullify normal attacks as well, which makes this character very good. The auto skill 1 character deals increased damage to heroes assembles characters, which is really unique. That's probably the most unique part of this kit, is that, hey, Impact Fest characters are going to get clapped by this unit, so that makes this character really unique and really good. And so that's the gist of Common Folk's kit. Next we have Draco Galaxy. Let me scroll down to Draco. All right, so Draco Galaxy. They had the plus ultra health hero killer stealth rush, which has a high chance of causing the opponents to bleed for 5 turns, medium chance of causing them to be stunned for 3 turns. The 3 turns is a little bit long probably for a stun, but not too bad. And then they fear the opponent for 6 turns, which is crazy, and confuse them for 3 turns. So they basically just completely immobilize opponents, which is a little overpowered and broken. Like, that's actually crazy. First auto skill, You Are True Heroes, increases the power by 25% if Todoroki's on the team, increases burn resistance by 30% if Midoriya's on the team or All Might's on the team, increases power by 20% if Ida's on the team, and increases speed by 30%. So a bunch of stuff going on there. And then the second auto skill increases speed by 10%, increases plus ultra damage by 15% if there is an ally on the team. If there's an All Might on the team, apologies, and increases power by 10% and plus ultra gauge by 35%. So that is Draco Galaxy's kit. And then next we have Kaz. All right, so for Kaz had all the, pretty stuff put in here to make his whole thing look pretty. I think you guys just voted for it because it looks pretty. It is a fairly decent kit, though. I'm not gonna lie. A little bit overpowered though. So let's just, I'll gist this again. Does bleed, does fear, does bind, does evade. Yeah, that's a little OP. Does bleed, does speed down, does defense down, does crit rate up, does skill impact up. That's insane. Does defense up, does HP up, does power and crit rate up, gives all opponents fear at the start of battle, increases your plus ultra by 30% at the start of battle, increases your speed by 30% at the start of battle, gives character piercing shots when HP is above 40%. So yeah. Yep. a little bit overpowered. Oh, and then I got to throw this in here too. Shortens all action skill cooldown time by 1 every 3 turns up to 2 times for all allies. Yeah, might as well make it more overpowered. So Kaz, with the overpowered kit of the knight that made it to the finals. And lastly, we have Alex here. Alex had, of course, the fake hero counter again. And once again, what the fake hero counter does, just in case you guys have forgotten, is it increases the damage they take from bleeding by 5% for every counter. So eventually you're going to get to a point where you land a bleed and they just die in 1 turn from a bleed, which is actually insane and can be really, really ridiculous. And it's also going to remove 3 temporary buffs from the hero with the most fake hero counters. And then for every fake hero counter the target has, increases the character's skill impact by 5% when attacking them. So you could also potentially eventually one-shot characters if they have enough fake hero counters. So Alex's kit might be a little bit OP too, but the difference is it's not quite as OP as Kaz's because it does take time to stack. So that's everybody's right there. Poll is going up. I'm very happy nobody's voting for Alex, because once again, he can't win. He's just here as a consolation prize because people thought his kit was good enough, which it was. So congrats to that. Somehow we have 18 votes. Okay. 19 votes. All right, so that looks like that is the end there. We'll go ahead and end this poll at 20 votes. I don't think it's going to change much. Kaz has a pretty significant lead here. So Kaz at 42% is the winner. I will be in contact with you through a Discord message probably. And Kaz, be thinking about what sticker and what emote you want for the Discord, and then also what characters you would like to be in the poll for the next character contest, or would like we can do create your own unique character or whatever you want. Just message me, we'll talk about it and we'll figure out what we're going to do in the poll. So yeah, Kaz, we'll do that. I feel like to everybody else who didn't get in there, who didn't get to the finals, like who got voted for and was really close, because there were a lot of people, like there were a couple of people who were very, very close in the voting, like just 1 vote away from being in the finals. I was sincerely, genuinely impressed with your kits, and I feel like some of you guys should have made it to the finals, but hey, I don't control the votes, so I just run the thing, and I apologize. And now, yeah, as a consolation prize, we're going to take a look at what Alex has done down here with his troll kit. All right, where are we at? All right, Alex. All right, so this is his troll kit for Stain. Plus Ultra Move Wild deals 1 to 100,000 damage, okay, to every character on the field. All right, so 100,000, okay, sure. Just kill them all. Okay. Action skill 1 / increases PU gauge of all allies by 60%. Cooldown of 1 turn. Okay, why just 60%? Why not 100? Why are you lowballing this one? Cooldown of 1 turn. Action skill 2, knife, increases the critical hit rate of all allies by 55% for 3 turns. Why not 100? Why not 100? You scared? You scared? Auto skill 1, perish, kills all opponents when this character is killed. Ah, there it is. There's the death. There's the blow up. Auto skill 2, counter death, dies at the beginning of the second turn after battle starts. What's the point of this other stuff then? What's the point? Everything else was pointless. All right. Well, okay. Yikes. Yeah, Alex, definitely not good enough, man. Do better. Do better. Oh, man. Alright, I am going to go through and I'm going to just clear these out because I want to keep this particular thread kind of clean for... Why is there a bomb here? Okay. Now I see the picture. Now I see the picture. Alright. Jeez. Yeah, let's cancel me, man. You gotta have more. I looked at the art. I saw it. Cancel me. I gotta have more subscribers to cancel me. I'm not even worth canceling. All right, delete these. Clean these out here. Just keep the thread clean, you know, for future contests. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna close the thread. Thread is now closed. So that is the end of the contest, guys. And if there's anything you guys want to talk about, anything you want to ask about, I would love to talk about Black Clover Mobile. I'd love to talk about the anniversary and how I feel about it, how you guys are feeling about it. Anything you guys want to talk about, I'll talk about with you guys right now. I'll take some time, and then if no one really has anything they want to ask or talk about, then we'll end it. So I'll just kind of, the stream is delayed, so I'm going to sit here for a second, probably in silence on your screen, until I see some stuff start coming in. You're welcome for that. I can't wait to see the game you guys come up with. It'll be, if you actually make it a game, I'll play it. I will absolutely play it. We'll have to do it as a group. Give it live PvP. Give it what my hero never had. Yeah, I'm a little nervous for the Black Clover movie. I'm not gonna lie. I got delayed once, and Netflix is in charge of it. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sorry, Bananye. I'm sorry. I had to remove it. If it's within your budget. What's your budget? Like, who's paying you? $120 a month, 120 cents, $2. I'm gonna open up Black Clover while we're sitting here. In case anyone wants to see Black Clover or hasn't watched any of the videos on it or stuff like that, I think the game looks so clean. Honestly, I really, really do like this game. It's gonna be nice. These are like the equivalent of Ultra Arena when you win a defense right here. Oh, you're gonna hire voice actors and artists within your budget. I will volunteer to voice act for free because I'm garbage at it. So yeah, do with that what you will. You're gonna be the voice actor? Oh shoot, no. Okay. You had a bit of fun with Black Clover beta months ago, but it's too much of a grind to enjoy these days. Absolutely love the IP. Yeah, same. Well, sort of same. I like the grind though, in a way. I feel like it is somewhat free-to-play friendly, but also it does go a lot towards whales. Like, it's hard to explain. Yeah, so whales are just going to destroy me like this. Even though their technical battle power is so much lower than mine. They're just able to, all these characters are LR level except for Finroll here. I only have 2 LRs, and that's like as much as you can get free to play this early on in the game. So that's the problem. See you, Duckage. Put it in a different channel, Banania, however you say your name, I apologize. I think most people will hopefully say no. Yeah, I find it hard to start a new gacha game too, I'm not gonna lie to you, and because of particularly money when it comes down to it, Vespa. So like, that's why I do mainly My Hero videos, because I have the money to do like one gacha game sincerely, and then I do, you know, free to play on Dokkan, free to play on Legends and Grand Cross. For the most part, I might spend a little bit here or there, but I think I'm gonna try to pick up Black Clover as well when it launches on global, and do My Hero and Black Clover, hopefully pay to play, I think. Because by then my living situation and stuff will have changed a little bit, and I should have a little bit more money. That's the problem with any gacha game, is money masked for sure. That's that's the biggest problem, honestly, with doing YouTube for a gacha game, is like, I want to showcase the characters at level 130. I want to keep pulling till level 130. Real life and being responsible though just doesn't allow for that sometimes, so that's the unfortunate part. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and do this and probably still not kill anybody. You guys can see Yami's super attack. Thanks, Vespa. I appreciate the vote of confidence. My favorite Black Clover character, it's probably, it's just cliche to say though, like, it's probably Yami though. It's still realistically probably Yami. We'll go ahead and use, so the nice thing about Mimosa, this Mimosa, she has a revive, only character in the game with a revive, so kind of sick. Make me sell my hair. Dude, Banana, what are you on, man? Alright, so Asta is now alive again. Go ahead and do this. Finroll's annoying because he increases all their stats. It's actually amazing how similar this is in a way to My Hero, because this is not live PvP, so this is very actually similar to My Hero. reason I don't live stream when I pull is A, because my microphone quality, for whatever reason, I haven't been able to figure it out, obviously, is a lot quieter when I do streams as opposed to videos. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. And also, I feel like I don't get the amount of views on a stream that I do on a video. Like, people don't go back and watch the stream as much as people will go back and watch the video for whatever reason. Yeah, Julius is sick up until he turns into a kid. After he turns into a kid, I was kind of like, eh. But yeah, I felt the same way up until then. Alright, we'll go ahead and kill Asta. And, oh, we killed Finral too. Dubs. Try to heal and stay alive. See if we actually can win this. I doubt it, but you never know. Nope. Okay, Yami's dead. We're in trouble. Luck! He does too much damage, man. There's no way. Yikes, man. Yikes. This is rough. Do we think we can out... Nope, we can't. I was gonna say, do we think we can outlive, out-heal? But not if they're gonna do this. Maybe. Okay, heal ourselves. Alright, now we just have to survive. Yeah, they have a ton of character variants and costumes and stuff like that going on. So they do got a bunch of that going on right now. It's honestly, the game looks so nice. They got a lot going on for it. They launched with guilds at launch. They launched with everything My Hero. The thing is, they launched with everything My Hero Ultra Impact should have had, and then they did hot fixes after they launched too. Like when you weren't having enough story tickets and stuff like that, they fixed it, right? So I don't know. All right, there's the resurrect. Is it gonna be enough? Nope. Alright, we'll heal ourselves here to see if that does anything. We'll probably still... Oh, no, he's just got... Okay, we lose. We lose. Dang, got close, though. The graphics are great. The graphics are honestly so good for Black Clover Mobile. I didn't mean for this to turn into a Black Clover Mobile video. I just feel like... I am enjoying this game. I just wanted to share a little bit. In case anyone hadn't seen what PvP looked like or seen the characters, seen the game, maybe inspire you a little bit. Yeah, rip Yami again. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Alright, well, I think we are going to call the stream there. We have been streaming for over 3 hours now, going over that contest. Kaz, if you're still here, I will get in contact with you. If you're not, either way, I'll still get in contact with you. I am not playing on PC. I'll show you this before I actually go ahead and get off. I'll show you what I'm doing. I am playing on my phone. I have my phone on in front of me, and I'm just using my mouse to move around on my PC. So I'm using I literally just have my phone plugged in with a USB, and I'm using something called QT Scrappy. And let me see if I can pull it up for you. I'm using QT Scrappy right here. You just plug your phone in with a USB. You double click this right here, pulls up your phone screen. You can manipulate your phone screen with your mouse. You can also turn on your audio for the game. I don't currently have that on since I have the music I have on in the background right now. But you can turn on the audio for the game, and it all works through this one app. So it's really, really nice. And it saves you the effort of downloading BlueStacks and stuff like that. You could run it through BlueStacks, but I'm not a big fan of BlueStacks personally. Check the Discord stream chat. I'll check that real quick before I go. Let's see. What am I looking at here? I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, Kaz. I don't know about that one, Kaz. We'll have to chat about that. We'll have to chat about that one. Yeah, we'll have to chat about that. I don't know about guns and bombs and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll call it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Goku. Okay. Well, fair play. We'll have a chat. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching the stream. If you're watching this back later, if you were with me live right now, thank you to everybody who made a kit. Please leave a like on this stream if you haven't already, or a like if you're watching the stream later, for the creators who did these, so that they know that you appreciate these types of kits and me going over them and stuff like that. And I will continue to do these contests, and we'll add to the winners in the Discord and add to the emotes in the Discord as well. So thank you guys, everyone who's there in chat still. I see there's still a couple of you guys. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for sticking with me while I just did stupid things on Black Clover and talking about random stuff. Have a good night, guys.